They, from that standpoint, kind of give them an idea what they have there. They said, then you sit down, and whether it's the agent or whether it's the dad, go, okay, hey, we'd love to have you. What's your price? He said, is that cut and dried nowadays? What is your price? Where are you at? And we'd love to have you, but what's your price? So he said a lot of and we'll catch up with Charlie Reagan and reference a lot of this as well, too, if they go through a similar scenario, whether high schooler or whether it's guys in the portal. If it's that, not so much that simple, but you got to have a good product, but if it's that antiquated to where you cut a lot of fat and go right to the bone of what's your price, where are you at, let's move on.
I'm just very curious who stepped up to pay Sam Levitt $3 million.
Well, we know that.
You keep bringing up Matt Lawrence. He's not doing that. He's already added to the collective.
No, he's been leading the charge.
Yeah, but he's already.
There's got to be other.
There has to be some other.
He kicked in $500,000. Kicked in $300 for the two kids from the basketball program. Kids, and he's already kicked in at $500K for this new group of whoever comes in, the collective, if you will,
the Sun Angel Collective is what it's properly.
They are so long student athletes.
I want to say this, and I wouldn't say this to Charlie, but you keep hearing Coach Stillingham, soliciting the Sun Angel Foundation or the collective, but I got to be honest with you, I don't know where to go. Where would I donate $100 right now?
Who would you call?
Do I have to Google it? So I have to Google it. Why haven't they come out with some website that's Sun Devil Collective or whatever it's called? So and push, hey, $5, $10, $100, $200, whatever you want to pay.
Yeah.
And if you hit certain numbers, you get a signed jersey or what. I mean, this isn't that hard.
Yes. Yeah, and I know that with our Golden Cat Club at K-State, you get so much. You're a lifetime member for $10,000. If it's $1,000 a year, you get your name above the locker, who you would represent. Now that's something where you go, okay, if I kick in $1,000,
cool.
Yeah, here's my name above the whoever
the player
designated to. Yeah. But yeah, it's a little different story now. They've gone after a lot of the farming community because those guys are doing pretty well. But yeah, they've gone after oil, farming. They've been strategic in reference to your point, Rock. Who do they send the letters to, the emails to? Besides all of us alumni.
I mean, I'm a season ticket holder. I haven't got anything.
So that's interesting. If you haven't gotten anything, maybe they think you're not an alumni, so why bother? I say,
fair, but I think there's a lot of people here that maybe didn't go to college.
Sure. Yeah.
Or went to a college that didn't have a big-time football program like me. I didn't go to a big-time school. And I would totally donate to the collective.
Yeah, I would. We'll grab Graham Rossini next couple of weeks and say, look, now the portal area is going to be closed here, the portal. What's the process for Joe Q Public that has become a Sun Devil fan?
If they
and where do they go if they want to donate and see you keep guys like the Sam Levitts of the world and the Jordan Tysons of the world?
I find it interesting that Rock just mentioned that because you're absolutely right. There hasn't been any publicity about that at all.
There's been publicity that they need the money.
Good.
But there's no action.
Yes. Yeah.
And this isn't a knock on the program at all.
Oh, no.
I'm just trying to give my 2 cents to help.
That's why you are who you are. You are Mr. Marketeer.
I just don't understand it. It's like it should be easy to make a donation.
Mm-hmm.
And on top of everything like that, is the donation is there anything tied to that donation?
Right.
Is there anything
you get something for it?
Yeah.
You get an ASU pin that you can put on your jacket.
Yeah, that would be one of those things that you kind of go, okay, let's make sure that happens time in and time out.
Anyway, that is something that we need to look at because I do think it is an issue. Can we figure out what this reverb is going on? Can we turn somebody's volume down, Jimmy? Is that you, Jimmy? Is your volume on your laptop going? Can you turn your volume off? There you go, buddy. Man, these old guys I got to work with.
That's that new laptop I got.
You had it for what, a month?
No, about 2 weeks.
30 seconds till it's
2 weeks. Just forgot to turn this up. Don't have it quite set up like I want.
Arizona State basketball. I got to tell you, first half,
hell of a first half.
Fun to watch.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, halftime, we get something to eat, come back, and then all of a sudden they're outscored 38-13. Ouch. It's awful. Like, what happened?
It was awful. The line was 14.5.
Was it really?
I thought at halftime, hey, everybody who took the 14.5, they're in a good spot here. Uh-oh.
KU,
no, you're not.
KU came out pressed everywhere, anywhere, and then some. Then they went back down to the big guy, Dickinson.
Hunter
Right,
Dickinson.
4 or 5 times in a row?
Yeah.
They said enough of this.
Yeah, he had 15 points. He only shot 5 of 15 from the floor, but he went to the line a lot, and he was successful there. But he had 12 boards as well and a couple of block shots. So essentially in the second half, he took over the game.
Well, and they went the offensive boards, too.
Yeah.
They were bound
Yeah.
to determine.
Absolutely.
They're like ASU. We're down to ASU. And ASU's been twice before, don't get me wrong. But they just kind of woke up. And I think it was all about the press, the harassment. They had like 3 or 4 steals within the first 5 minutes of the second half.
Turn the game on.
But what if their leading scorer was playing? He was out.
It might have been a different story. You never know. I mean,
he was averaging 13.5 points a game. What did they lose by?
15?
Like 15 or 16. Yeah.
19 was 19 points, ended up losing by. It just kind of got out of hand.
Yeah.
And the issue was, they were kind of desperate.
I think they got shell shocked there in the beginning of the second half is what happened, and they did not have an answer.
I was thinking, like, what went on at halftime? You get your hot dog, you get your popcorn. I mean, what went down at halftime for them to come out so
Got those first
slow?
highlights ready.
We're not going to go with it, Connor. Don't worry about it. I mean, I just don't know what happened there.
Well, I think that just KU's talent just overrid them. They pressed him. They came after him. They came after him like with a vengeance. And I don't think ASU's seen anything like that aside from the scrimmage and they played Duke. But KU just was like, I mean, they were all over ASU. And that kind of press, that kind of energy, you would think they'd be able to handle it, but they could not handle it with the turnovers when you watch that. 18 turnovers for the Devils.
Yep.
I think over half in that second half.
Hey, we are out here at Twin Peaks in Tempe. We're going to remind you, we only have another week of our fantastic tailgating sweepstakes. It's sponsored by Blue Moon and Coors Light. All you have to do to enter is text Peaks to 59925. You can do it every day to win this amazing grand prize. We're going to give you a Traeger grill, a Blackstone griddle, a pizza oven, a cornhole set, a portable beer pong table, a projector with a screen, a cooler, which will fill that up with cases of Cocoa 5. Again, it's no purchase necessary. Just text Peaks to 59925. Standard message and data rates apply. And finally, watch all the playoff action starting tonight at any of the 5 locations. First game is at 5:30 tonight in the Orange Bowl. Connor, let's get to what on this day, buddy.
Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B want to take you back. A quick reflection on some of the more memorable moments in sports and pop culture. Now, time for your Right Toyota on this day report. Right Toyota, right on the corner, right on the price. Right Toyota in Scottsdale.
All right, we're going to go back to 1977, Super Bowl 11.
I was at the discos.
Raiders, led by Ken Stabler, defeated the Vikings 32-14. It was the Vikings' 4th Super Bowl loss. And by the way, that's the last time they appeared in the Super Bowl.
So that was in Pasadena, as I recollect.
It was
the Rose Bowl.
Yep, they joined the Buffalo Bills as 4-time losers.
All I remember is Stabler to Bolitnikoff on that one catch, touchdown, and then the interception Tarkin threw was the Woods coming down. Oh man, Willie coming down that left sideline on that pick 6. So Tarkenton.
Can you guys name the 2 teams? I'm giving you a hint. 2 teams that hold the record for the most total Super Bowl losses.
Total
losses.
Well, losses. Well,
you're going to get one,
Okay.
but you may struggle with the other.
I'll say Buffalo, 1.
Nope. They have 4.
No, they have 4. Yeah, they lost 4 in a row.
Yeah.
We already talked about Minnesota 4.
How many Cowboys lose? Maybe the Cowboys?
Dallas, and I'm going to think of. I'm going to go with Dallas and Kansas City Chiefs.
What are you going with?
I'm going to go Dallas.
It's 2. I need 2.
Dallas and Chiefs got 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to say Dallas and I'll throw it Rams. Dallas and Rams.
No.
No.
We both. Connor, you want to play? You want to be part of this?
I don't know, guys. Seems like my Cowboys might be getting thrown under the bus here.
The correct answer, and Jimmy can say that's correct, the Broncos and Patriots hold the record with 5. The Broncos also won 3, and, of course, the Pats have won 6.
Forget about
It's like
that.
Elway was he 0 for until he won the first one?
Yes.
You guys didn't even get 1 right.
No, we stuck.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. 1991. Baseball officially banned Pete Rose for being elected to the Hall of Fame for betting on baseball. This one's for Jax. 2016, Carson Wentz. He was out since mid-October. He had a broken wrist. He returns to lead North Dakota State to an unprecedented 5th straight FCS championship. They beat Jacksonville State 37-10. And on this day, the Coyotes made some news. Brian Boucher, goaltender, 2004, 5 consecutive shutouts.
Wow.
5. He went 309 minutes and 21 seconds.
Damn.
And all those games were on the road.
It's amazing. Hey, how about Montana State making that North Dakota State game last week? A game. They were down. They came back, made it a game.
Roared back.
But North Dakota State wins another championship.
Hey, tonight Grand Canyon will be out there trying to get their season continuing and have some success in the WAC. They are sitting at 11-4 on the year, 1-0 in the WAC. They opened up the year 2-0 before losses to Arizona State, UC Davis. They then went on a nice little tear there and won 4 in a row. Then they fell to Georgia. And they're going to face Utah Valley, who's also 1-0 in the WAC. So that's good stuff there. They've met 24 times since 2005, and Grand Canyon leads the series 15-9. You can watch that on ESPN Plus.
I think they're starting to feel a little bit, get their groove on. They won 5 in a row now.
When we had Bryce Drew on the show a couple days ago, I just felt that he cannot wait to move to the Mountain West Conference. He cannot wait.
I think more ways than one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the one thing it seemed came across very clear for our GCU Lopes segment at 2 o'clock every Tuesday is that one guy goes from the WAC. Just one team.
One team always.
Go to the Mountain West, you may have 1, 2, whatever, just the opportunity.
They had 4 in last year.
And I think the other thing he really is the competition.
Yeah.
You know, the RPI and them boasting, because you better hope in the WAC that you have a couple strong teams, which they do, but that's it. Maybe 2 or 3. Western at the Mountain West, you may have 3 or 4 that might be in that realm.
So there's a website, a betting site called Bet Online, and they gather geotag data on Twitter or X to see who is America's team in college football of the 4 teams remaining. What do you guys think?
Man,
America's team. So it's
America's team.
Your choices are, of course, tonight's game, Notre Dame and Penn State, Texas, Ohio State.
I'm going to say that it's going to be because the SEC hates Texas. So the South hates Texas and Oklahoma. The fans did not want those 2 teams in. So I'm going to rule Texas out. I'm going to say it is Notre Dame because of the Catholic tie-in.
Yeah, that's a good. I'm going to go Ohio State. They're there every year. Powerhouse. They're always in the championships. The semi. I'm going to go with Ohio State as American.
So the background on how they did this.
Okay.
They, hashtag. You know what hashtag is, guys?
I know what that is. Yeah.
So it was hashtag Go Irish, which of course is Notre Dame. Hashtag Hook 'em is Texas. Still can't figure out Penn State. We are whatever. All right, and then Go Bucks.
Yeah.
So there's about 180,000 tweets that were tracked, and your winner is Notre Dame.
Yeah.
40 states, followed by Penn State, 5 states. They got Alaska, Maryland, Michigan, New Jersey, and of course Pennsylvania.
Right.
Texas. I'm sorry, Jimmy. What you said was not accurate because 4 states: Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi were rooting for. They're SEC.
Well, I know, but
And then the Ohio State, they got 1.
wow, really?
Yeah, they got Ohio.
Jealousy, envy, the envy of it all. You think
that's funny.
I'm surprised. You think about Texas being up there. You had the Cowboys, and you think, okay, Cowboys for many years, America's team.
Not
But
anymore.
Not anymore. But, I mean, it kind of flows. But that is surprising that the SEC folks, those Southeast states, would welcome their stepbrothers into the conference with open arms like that.
I just think that it was because they were the only SEC representatives. So I've talked to people in the South. They can't stand Texas. And
They're jealous.
They are jealous.
Understand them? You understand them?
They're fixing to put two sentences together, Jimmy.
Oh, man.
Hey, tonight, this on a serious note, there are local and federal agencies that are going to be all over this Orange Bowl between Penn State and Notre Dame, of course, because the terror attack in New Orleans. So they are expanding their presence throughout this playoff game there in Miami, and I'm sure they're doing the same in Texas, the Cotton Bowl. But this is sad that we got to deal with that, and not to mention deal with what's going on over in Los Angeles. But college playoff continues. Number 6 versus number 7 should be a good game. Who you guys rooting for?
I'm not rooting, but I like Notre Dame to win this game. I do.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah, I'm actually on the Notre Dame bandwagon too.
Can I just say this about the game tomorrow?
However, with Notre Dame,
okay,
let me just mention one
Go
thing.
ahead.
They don't have a good history of winning bowl games.
That's true.
You look at their bowl record; it's awful. You would think, but you also, if you probably tear down each one of those bowl games, how many of these players maybe their stars didn't want to play?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, they're still guys because they're going to get drafted because they have so much talent.
But I remember the 2 losses in the Fiesta Bowl by Notre Dame. They got hammered many years ago. It was at Sun Devil Stadium.
Was it Oregon State?
It was Oregon State, I believe it was. Just
buried them.
Hammered them. They could have put a 70
Dennis Erickson was the coach then for Oregon State.
And then you think back against Oklahoma State. They got hammered by Okie State a couple years ago at the Fiesta Bowl here.
But doesn't it surprise you that Notre Dame, all right, I mean, if I had a son, if I wanted to go to any college program, I am Catholic, it would be Notre Dame.
Okay.
Hands down. I think Notre Dame. But they haven't won a national championship since '88.
And one of the things they talked about, I don't know if this is true or not now, is that academic standards of getting some of these guys in. And when you look at the teams that blew them out,
You don't think they get in?
there's a lot of this. Stanford, a lot of guys can't get in.
Yeah.
Notre Dame, a lot of guys can't get in. Duke, a lot of guys can't get in.
Northwestern.
Do you think that matters anymore? We never talk about the transfer portal. And if this guy Carson Beck, is he smart kid?
Well, here's the thing. Now that they can do so much stuff online, now they got so many private tutors.
Yes.
They can help them get by. Now their initial GPA, if it needs to get up, they can correct that GPA prior to getting into school. Okay, we need a 3.0 minimum. You're at 2.85. We need you to take so many classes
to get that
up so we can enroll you at school.
By the way, we are broadcasting in Tempe Marketplace outside for some reason. And I'm wearing this jacket, and I haven't worn it since COVID. I just found a mask. I found a mask in my pocket. That's how long it's been since I wore this Perry Ellis, this jacket. I'm like,
that's great.
Hey, I figured 65 degrees today would be beautiful to be outside.
Well, it's not 65 yet.
It's
like, jeez, what is going on? But again, Twin Peaks 5 Valley locations. No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. Whatever your preference is. They get everything from tequila cocktails, extensive bourbon category, top shelf spirits, cocktails served with ice balls, and local craft beers, handcrafted drinks round out their drink menu. And don't forget about their 29-degree drafts. But we are going to catch up with Charlie Ragle. This is the first opportunity since the loss to Texas. He is going to join us, but we'll also have an update, an ESPN 620 update from Jackson Groth to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Now on ESPN 620 and on FM at 98.7 HD2. So I got good news.
Mark your calendars for Sunday.
For all of us.
Because the only place you
What's that?
is at Wecopa Casino Resort. This year, we're not just watching the big game. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B are giving away cash. Yes, you heard it right. Ready to win big with our amazing cash prizes just for watching the game. Here's how you can score cash. $25 squares game every $100 prop bets. And
Yeah. I was going to say, we'll probably go
Eagle now on ESPN 620 with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, courtesy of the Crest Insurance Group. Combine your home and auto for big savings today. Head to crestins.com. Now let's talk Arizona State football with Coach Charlie Reagan.
Coach, what hole are you on there at that course? I mean, you're done, right? You don't do anything for a while.
I wish it was that easy. I'm out and about looking for the next great Sun Devil.
Are you out in recruiting?
Oh yeah.
So what are you in the state?
Monday.
Are you out of?
I am in the state.
You in the state? Okay.
I'm in state. Yep.
So when did you get over this loss? Because it was a heartbreaker. I know the Sun Devil Nation, and even those that didn't even go to school there. I mean, one of the best football games I've ever watched, and I know people are still talking about it.
Yeah, I don't know that it's one you ever really get over, right? I think you step back for a couple of days and collect your thoughts and reflect on the game and the season. And, the game itself is one that obviously it hurts. And you hate to break up a team of this magnitude and this special. And so that's where you never get over it. But at the same time, life goes on. And when you reflect back on what these guys accomplished and where we came from, it's very humbling, and you can't but help be proud of the team and what we accomplished this year.
Charlie, talk about where you're at and where you came from. Talk about the second half, the differential to outscore Texas 21-7 in that second half. Was it just knocking the rust off the first half, getting used to game speed? What kind of flipped the switch at halftime?
No, I think, Dan, I think it's been this way all year long, in the sense that if we were in a situation where, we weren't in the driver's seat per se, or things weren't going our way necessarily, and we talked about it multiple times throughout the year, this team never, batted an eye. And I go all the way back to when we were, down at Texas State in our first road game. And that to me was what showed me, like, hey, these guys are built different. And I said this to you guys, they didn't get, rattled. They weren't, going at each other. They were just pretty calm and pretty steady. And that's when I said to myself, hey, we may have something. This might be a different group. And so it was just, hey, let's go back out there. Let's play it one play at a time and get ourselves back into this football game. There wasn't really any panic on, within the team. And that's a testament to who these guys are and how hard they've played all year, for 60 minutes of football and obviously into the overtimes in this particular game. But it's truly a testament to what type of kids we have.
Charlie, the moniker was this big defense of Texas, this big defensive front seven, on. And then to watch your offensive line get the confidence kind of reminded me of Rocky I when he was fighting Apollo Creed, and he looked at it, you ain't so bad. And that swagger was, I loved it because they went toe-to-toe, kind of looking at him, oh, is this who you are? I mean, I love that, to see that unfold.
Yeah, and I think that's the belief in who we have in these kids. They believe in themselves, and they believe in each other. And I know it sounds redundant, but it is why we are where we are and got to where we got because of that mentality. And I think that, that resonated through the whole team, and from the quarterback, all the way to the O-line, D-line, throughout the units. I just think that was the mindset of this football team. And they cared about each other, and when you have that, it's success is imminent, and that's something that's really, really hard to emulate. It's just a special group.
Charlie Regal's our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. Charlie, you do not have Cam Scattaboo returning. He's going to be playing on Sundays. So I know you have other running backs that you like, but none of them are Scattaboo. Do you believe that your offense then will have to be tweaked some for the upcoming season?
Well, let me say this. You're absolutely right. There is only one Cam Scattaboo. Make no mistake about that. I think he's a once-in-a-generational type of player, to be very candid with you. And I say that because of everything that he can do. You know, it's not just his running style. It's a mentality that he brings to the team. He really grew up from year 1 to year 2, learned how to be a better teammate. But he can run, obviously. I think he has the best contact balance of any player I've ever been around, a low center of gravity. You don't see him get tackled by one person. So he can catch the football, as he demonstrated that. He's a son of a gun in pass protection. He can play on special teams. So Cam's going to be missed sorely. There's no doubt about that, right? We obviously have other backs that we like, as you mentioned. We're adding pieces to the puzzle. We're enhancing the wide receiver game, and this is where the maturation of Sam has to come into play as a second-year starter, right? That's what, as he's evolved with this offense, I think you started to see that, especially the back half of the season. And so with that being said, we have a chance to obviously have a good football team next year. It's going to be a different football team than it was this year, but nonetheless, we have a chance to be a very good football team. We all know that. It's just we're going to get there in a different style of vehicle.
Crest Insurance presents Charlie Regal today here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Coach, would you want to get going? I mean, would you want to be playing in 2 weeks? Not saying a national championship. Would you guys want to get back on? You need this time off to kind of regroup and get this get this going where you need it to go.
I think when you play a season of this magnitude and with so many highs and then finish like we did, obviously you play to win championships,
sure.
Right? If you're not playing in the championship and, our season has expired, there is a mental component to this. These are still, 19, 20, 21, 22-year-old young men. Their bodies are still, some of them still growing and maturing. They need some time, in my opinion, to refresh. And I think that Kenny's been all over that and giving these guys that ability to reset currently right now. And but with the way the college setup is right now, we're gonna be back at it here in not too long. And it is what it is, and away we go.
Charlie, it speaks volumes that you kept all your top stars, all your top dogs, as I like to say. You kept them all, and they're all under wraps, ready to move on. To your point.
Yeah, I think, that's one thing as you go out and you're in the recruiting world now, right? I think that's one thing that is a major, major testament to Kenny and the culture that he's created with these guys, flat out, period, because, they pay us, right, to come on here and do these things, and they pay us to go out and recruit. This is our job. We're coaches, and that's what we do. I think the best testament to a football program is the testament of the players itself. And you don't have to say anything. It's about actions matter. And by all of these guys, our guys coming back and saying they want to be back for another year in this program,
3 minutes.
It's more than any coach could ever say about the football program at Arizona State currently.
Coach, along those lines, how long into the sit down with the parents and the athlete that they say, how much you're going to pay me?
Or do you ask them what their price is?
Yeah, how does that? Can you kind of walk us through that? Because
or do you say, all right,
a million reasons? You're not going to obviously tell us who, what, where, all that. But I'm just curious. How far along in the process does that come up?
Well, I think one, right, with the way the rules work, there's only certain types of conversations that you can have. Right?
Okay. That's fair.
By the rules, right? And that conversation is handled by Kenny, okay? But I will say this to you, is that if somebody shows up on our campus and that's the first thing that they're asking for, or they get on a phone call with us and that's the first thing they're asking for,
yeah.
keep it moving. We're on to the next one.
Love that. I love that, Coach.
Yeah.
It's
Minute and a half.
It's not how we assembled this football team was not just on a dollars and cents model, right? And that's the one thing that he's been adamant about, Coach Dillingham has, is that we make sure and we keep the integrity of the brand, of the caliber of young men that we have in the program. And again, I can't say enough good things. And it's not obviously winning. It is about winning, obviously, but these guys are high character kids, and they believed in something bigger than any one of them, which is rare. Yeah, everybody wants their piece of the pie, but these guys understood that collectively they were
1 minute.
a piece of that pie, and that mattered. And if we really truly believed in that and worked together, that the results would speak, to that. And based off of that model, that when you have success, success begets success, that everybody's going to get taken care of. And, obviously, like I said, the proof's in the pudding by bringing all these guys back.
Charlie, we have about a minute left. Can you set us up with your thoughts? How do you think Texas is going to compete against Ohio State, since you saw Texas firsthand?
Better than most people anticipate.
That's fair.
And I'll come on here and eat crow if I'm wrong next Thursday. But I have a pretty good feeling I'm not. Texas is a very, very good football team.
Okay.
They ran into a team in Arizona State that believed more in themselves than probably everybody else did. And that's a dangerous opponent with a unique set of skills. Texas is big, as you mentioned. They can run. If Quinn Ewers plays solid football tomorrow against Ohio State, that game could go either way.
Coach, we'll talk to you soon. Good luck on the recruiting road. Appreciate you, man.
Always appreciate you guys, and always go Devils.
That's Charlie Regal, assistant head coach of the Sun Devils, brought to you by Crest Insurance Group, offering personal, business, specialty insurance solutions for their clients across all markets. You can check them out online at crestins.com. Well, coming up, of course, always football 50, but first we'll have some fun with some random facts of the day, like some new NFL playoff foods. And two Girl Scout cookies are going away.
What?
Yeah. No. Stick around. Stick around. Yeah. More Roc and Manuch. Jimmy B continues on ESPN 620.
What's up, guys? Jason Payne, owner of State 48 Roofing. You can find me on Instagram. So for this one, Rock, do you want
Wanted a walk-up with central air and a skylight, and you found it. Now, every Friday night, you get to fall asleep to the sound of your downstairs neighbors' dance parties. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
30 seconds. This will be the last ad.
Welcome to AutoZone.
So talking to
What are you working on today?
Richard Stein's
Thinking about last mileage.
To get your guys' mics hot here in about 3 seconds.
Random fact of the day. Time for ESPN 620's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B to give you their Today Random Fact of the Day. Thanks to Cocoa 5 for health and hydration. Coke
Mics are hot.
natural fruit-flavored coconut water delivers. Find it at a store near you.
All right, it's official. It's Girl Scout cookie season again.
I love it.
Thin Mints like a big dog.
Here's the thing. All right, yeah, I love Thin Mints. I just don't like how they're being sold these days.
How's that?
Parents,
Yes.
I won't buy them anymore.
No, I don't like that either.
You bring your kid.
Yes.
You have your kid knock on my door.
Yep.
And give me the spiel. This is how these kids can learn. All right, they're so damn enabled. Parents, you know what I'm talking about. You're listening right now. You know exactly what I'm talking about.
Tell them, Rock.
You bring the sheet to work and you pass it around the cubes and you say, hey, it's that time, little John or little Annie, Michelle, whoever.
Yeah.
You know, it's time when she's going for a record. You know, they want to go on some trip. Yeah, you know, screw that.
Or you catch you coming out of the grocery store.
That's
a little table off the
you
side.
gotta dodge that one.
I always thought, I go, no, I got my 25 boxes of Thin
I
Mints.
know. It's like I would rather the child
I agree, Rob.
tell me.
Sure.
You know, I had to do it.
Yeah.
My parents never enabled me in that way. To do, you know, I had the paper route in the morning,
Sure.
paper route at night. I shoveled snow, did all that.
Or did you?
I mowed yards.
Yeah, I did it all.
Or-
Same here.
So we did for our teams, you know, junior high or high school. To raise money, we have to go sell door to door like a calendar grease
A
board.
coupon book.
Well, yeah, coupon book.
book,
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, yeah, we went door to door.
Yeah.
And whoever sold the most.
So these kids don't have to do it. Fire you off an email.
Or it's too dangerous. Well, you as a parent, go walk up with them.
With them.
Yeah, go up to let them do the spiel.
So the lineup is going to, unfortunately, this is the final year of the s'mores.
No, really?
I didn't even know they're any good.
Yeah, they're decent.
And then the toast.
Bread guy. Give me that cookie.
They don't even have shortbread.
Yeah, whatever the original Girl Scout cookie. Wasn't it called the shortbread cookie?
Oh, I think it was a Thin Mints. I don't know.
No.
Thin Mints, it's the caramel delight.
Yeah, very
It's
good.
the peanut butter patties. It's a peanut butter sandwich. The Adventurefuls, the caramel chocolate chip, the lemonades, the lemon ups, and the toffee tent.
Yeah, I never heard of those shortbreads,
I
Jimmy.
thought those were the original cookies.
No.
Yeah, they had to be.
No,
I just gave you the
Jimmy
lineup.
B, we've been doing it for like 9,000 years.
I know. That's the only cookie that I ever get.
Also, another random fact. It's quite interesting. Cinemark theaters are letting people bring their own bucket for popcorn on January 19th. It can't be more than 400 ounces. So that's like the size of like 2 extra large popcorn. So what they're doing is they're saying bring your own bucket on National Popcorn Day for $5, no matter how big that bucket is, as long as it's not more than 400 ounces.
It's a lot of popcorn, man.
It's actually a clever.
It is a clever
It's
idea.
a clever idea to take
Yeah.
advantage of that.
We'll fill it halfway up and put the butter on top of it.
Sure.
Put the other half on it.
Yep.
Put the butter
Right
on top.
Yeah.
We're going to get the football 50 here in about a minute and a half, but 3 NFL teams are adding giant size food items to their menu for the playoffs starting this week. Arrowhead, they're bringing in touchdown toast. It's a massive brick of French toast with berry sauce and vanilla ice cream.
Ooh, sign me up.
That's right in my wheelhouse.
And this one's the best, clearly. I'll leave it for last. The Texans are going to be doing the Bigger in Texas tamale. Meat, chili sauce, and salsa.
Sounds good.
30 seconds.
But the number one, by far, at the lake, Philadelphia Eagles. The Pretzel John. It's a big pretzel in the shape of the Eagles logo, and it comes with 3 sauces, including green mustard.
Green mustard.
Green mustard.
I like the soft pretzels, just regular mustard. I mean, I'm sure it tastes the same. Miss a where you can go get a really good, big, soft pretzel.
There was Philadelphia Pretzel Company in Goodyear. I don't know if they're still in business.
50's ready.
But there's not a lot of
There really
to
isn't.
go.
Yeah.
We were anxious for that the other day to get a soft pretzel. You got with the mustard.
But I gotta be honest. I think Wetzel's pretzels are outstanding.
they're not bad.
Especially the little pretzel bites.
Yeah, the
those
pretzel
things are
bites.
badass.
Yeah.
You know, and there's like 100 of those stores around. You know, they got the food truck. All right, let's do football 50, Connor.
Let's get ready.
It's football at 50. The latest top football stories trending this hour on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
So we're gonna do our underdog picks next segment, and it's a new season, so I think let's start from scratch. You think the regular season, you get into playoff time.
I'm beating you guys too bad.
I mean, seriously, no one cares about the regular season. No one cares about.
That's what happened to me 2 years ago in Fan Pick'em.
Last year, Jimmy.
Last year, I won Fan Pick'em, and then you guys kept going into the playoffs, and I got skunked.
Hello, Jimmy. Let's finish out the year.
Latest spreads. All right. So first game is CBS 2:30 on Saturday. The Chargers -3 at Houston. Steelers plus 9.5 at Baltimore. That may go up a little bit with some news of Flowers being out.
Yeah.
That game is at 6:00, and many of you won't be able to watch because you're too cheap to get Amazon Prime, Manuch.
No, we have it.
You do have
Oh,
it.
absolutely, we had it.
Lori has it.
We have it.
You have it.
We
Okay.
both have it. Yeah.
I'll be at the refreshments.
Yeah, see, I knew. I should have said Jimmy B doesn't have it.
We got
Anybody over 80 doesn't have Amazon Prime.
92.
92. Anyway, on Sunday at 11 o'clock, the early game is the Broncos are getting 9 at Buffalo.
Okay.
Interesting. And then the afternoon window at 2:30, the Eagles will host the Packers. The Packers are getting 4.5. Curious if Love is going to be good enough to go. He's going to go, I'm sure, but that thumb is that could be an issue.
It sounds like Jalen Hurts is going to go through his last couple concussion protocols today and tomorrow.
He practiced yesterday.
Yeah, he did. But they still got some testing to do.
Yeah. They have to give him the okay.
The Sunday night game is the Commanders at the Buccaneers. Buccaneers -3.
I like that.
I'm anxious to see what Jaden Daniels can do
In a
in
playoff?
his first playoff game.
Yep.
Same with Bo Nix. The kid's playing really well. And on Monday, and I hope it's in Los Angeles because that means things have gotten better there. But right now, there's still some talk that it can, and I haven't even looked to see if there's been some news.
I just did a little moment ago, and there's no news as of to it.
Where do you go to get your? Where are you even going to get your news?
I have the phone that you guys ragged on me about for so
you don't
long.
even know how to use your laptop. How are you figuring out news?
Jimmy, we get updates as well, too.
And you act like you get news all the time. Oh, Carson Beck
I just told
got it in the transfer portal. Everybody saw that. You got it on your phone.
Jimmy, we get updates. There's no updates on the current
That's what
situation.
I said. That's what I just
What
said.
did you just say?
I just said there's nothing new. There's no.
He said that. Well, okay. All right. Just make sure.
Listen to what I say.
He
but-
doesn't listen to you. He's working on his next thing to say.
Oh, okay.
So Vikings -1.5 at the Rams. So there you have it. So there's if you get ready there. So we'll get into that. I think in the next hour and get our underdog picks. Got some college football to talk about too because we have 4 straight days of college of playoff football, which we've never had before.
Playoff format football going on. These next 40, you gotta love it. Even going through Monday with that situation.
It's awesome.
If the winds can change direction, all should be good for the Rams and this Vikings. As a matter of fact, I think the Rams called off practice yesterday.
They did.
They are going to practice this afternoon. They like to typically practice outdoors at their facility because they said they're getting the stadium SoFi ready just in case they can play. So just an absolute mess.
There's a stat for those of you that just think there's too many college bowl games. I don't think that's the consensus. I think people felt that the ratings and everything would go down because everyone's too into the playoff. But the 33 non-college football games, playoff bowl matchup games on all the ESPN platforms, averaged 2.7 million viewers, up 14%. Mm-hmm. That's gigantic.
It is.
I mean, NFL's down 2%.
Well, there were some good games, some good bowl games.
There were.
For a lot of the teams that were left,
They were upsets because of the SEC. They were upsets to the SEC.
Yeah, you love that. Well, anytime you watch the SEC get beat, you love it, right?
Didn't Michigan just pound Alabama into the ground?
Big time. That was fun to see.
That was
It was
awesome.
good to see that the North Dakota State's win over Montana State. There was a lot. They did a good job putting it on the Monday that they did.
Yes.
They got a lot of eyeballs.
Yep.
They got almost close to 2.5 million. It was the most watched game since 2020. They only did 1 million viewers last year. Who was in it last year?
North Dakota State.
And who else? North Dakota, it's always
It was
North Dakota State.
Montana and South Dakota State.
South Dakota State, one of those two up there. So, so only 1 million last year.
And it turned into a good game. Montana State made a run. They did a very close side. North Dakota State had to score the last drive, but it turned into a very good game, and I think more eyeballs came on to that second half.
All right, up in our 2 o'clock hour, we'll catch up with the sports professor, Rick Horo, talk about the business side of sports. You'll have an opportunity to win a gift card here at Twin Peaks as you'll get to compete against one of the Twin Peaks servers here at the Tempe location. But we're going to talk some college football next. 5 days of playoff football starts tonight. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620 and 98.7 HD2.
Hold you back from the life you love.
7 Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl, the first semifinal round matchup of this tournament. Rock, Manuch, Jimmy B, Jackson, Connor got you covered. We're at the Tempe Twin Peaks today, thanks to our great promotion, which will be coming to an end here very soon. Our fantastic tailgating sweepstakes, which is brought to you by Blue Moon and Coors Light. Another week left. Text Peaks to 59925 every day for your chance to win the big prize: a Traeger grill, a Blackstone griddle, pizza oven, bunch of gift cards from Twin Peaks, a portable beer pong table, as well as a cooler of Cocoa 5 and a bunch of other good stuff. No purchase necessary. Just text Peaks to 59925. Standard message and data rates do apply. And finally, watch all the games starting tonight with Notre Dame and Penn State at any of the 5 Valley locations. We'll have our underdog picks in about 10 minutes. But as we talk about this next game, the Lions made it look easy to get by SMU, and then blew by Boise State. Some may say it was they had them. I think they did for most of
under control
the
entire game,
and they're looking for their first shot at a national championship since they won it in 1982. For Notre Dame, they're coming off their toughest pair of games this season. They took down 10th ranked Indiana in the open round. Then they did upset number 2 Georgia. By the way, Carson Beck went in the transfer portal today to earn a spot in the Final Four. They haven't won a national title since 1988. And then tomorrow we'll dive into some Ohio State-Texas talk as the Cotton Bowl is the other semifinal matchup. But this will be fun. Looking forward to this. This is what we wanted. We wanted to see playoff football, and we got it.
Yeah, I think the one thing you watch this Penn State-Notre Dame game, Penn State, watching them early in the season, travel out to play USC and come back and win that game. The acronym about, well, Franklin can't win the big game, especially on the road west of the Mississippi. He proved that point. And I think as the season went on,
how did he prove it?
They came back and beat USC in the Coliseum on the road where they were like one out.
What was USC this year?
Well, USC was up by
6.
Yeah, exactly.
But they were up,
team.
guys, but they were up at halftime.
A lot of teams are up at halftime.
But they came back. The key was they're coming back. You started to see, well, maybe Penn State, Coach Franklin, have something special this year to come back on the road, being down, I don't know, about 14. But let me finish my thought here.
Though. Come on, you got.
Okay.
I know you got to take here, but they were a 500 team.
Okay, but here's the thing. I understand it, but USC was up, and they had all the momentum going forward, and then Penn State shut them down. Had a couple of nice little trick plays.
Yes,
but they went down.
Good. Yep.
They went down and won the game. But I think that for a lot of the Franklin naysayers, but he can't win the big one. Can't win the big one.
He hasn't yet.
He has. Well, he won the first 2 playoff games. So now I think when you look at Penn State, okay, and then
Boise State,
okay,
2 teams that I think many of us would probably scratch your heads as to why they're even in the
they
playoff.
won. Did they not win?
Okay, but you got it's apples and oranges. Come on.
Mark, let me finish my thought here. So what you're saying is, okay, is this the last salvo for when Franklin and his staff to beat Notre Dame in order to make it all the way? I think Notre Dame wins it because I see more physicality, more speed than I've seen with any kind of Notre Dame team. And for them to go toe-to-toe, that being Notre Dame, with Georgia is the difference that I see in this game. So I think what Franklin's done is he's established the running game, which they did in the SMU game. And
they also have their top running back tonight.
Exactly.
Too.
And I like Kohler, the quarterback. I think he's one of the top QBs coming out this year in reference to him throwing the ball. But I think Notre Dame, with their speed, their physicality, mostly the speed that they have all around, complete balance in game. They didn't wow you against Georgia. They got after the young quarterback, but they made plays that they had to make. And that's the one reason why I like Notre Dame in this game.
Yeah, but we would agree, but you're trying to make a case first about Franklin winning the big one.
Well,
that's going to change the program.
Okay, now wait a second. Franklin getting there, Rock, to the semis. That was the key.
They had a pretty easy road.
Okay, well.
You wouldn't argue that?
I would say, well,
SMU, Boise State.
SMU.
Look at Notre Dame had to beat
Georgia. SMU, the kid had 2 pick sixes in the opening to drive. I mean, that kid had 3 picks, 2 of them pick sixes. SMU, to try to come back in that game, were negated by that. So that's a good SMU team. They weren't dogs. Brock, they were going down the field to score. They got the pick sixes. So SMU's a good, solid team, but they beat them.
The quarterback for Penn State was Drew Aller.
Uh-huh.
He's very average. SMU, he was 13 of 22, 127 yards without a touchdowns in big games. Ohio State didn't show up. Against Oregon, he did okay, 3 touchdowns, but still 2 interceptions. Even Boise State, he did have a good game, but he plays well with the talent level they're playing.
Well, Rock, I mean, you're going to, with all the quarterbacks in these games, go the ups, the downs, but I think the kid is as far as, throwing the ball, having the big arm, all the things in order to make the plays, he can make those plays when he needs to. That's what I like about him. And you look at
do you know if Abdul Carter's playing? He's their best player, and he got knocked out against Boise State.
He did, yeah.
They're going to need him to win this game. The only way I think Penn State wins this game is a turnover on defense. Well, that's the only way. That's not. We could see Notre Dame roll them.
Well, you could. I mean, they've got.
I doubt it, but it could happen.
I can tell you this: that Riley Leonard, a quarterback for Notre Dame, has played in big games. Remember, before he broke his leg when he was at Duke, they were 9-0, and they had beaten top competition. So now that he has, as Manuch likes to say, matriculated to Notre Dame, what have they done? They lost one game at home to Northern Illinois. They didn't get off the bus for that game, and they paid the ultimate price by getting upset. They were able to recapture what they had going, and now they have parlayed that into the semifinals. I think Riley Leonard for Notre Dame is a key ingredient in tonight's college football.
And their running game with Love, that kid, the way he runs the ball. I mean, it's a different-looking Notre Dame team.
It is, totally different.
I think what Freeman has done is he's transformed to get the better athletes, the quicker athletes. I mean, athletes all over the place versus the stoic, typical Big Ten kind of team, big, strong guys. But I think that team it's a different looking, physical defense with the speed all around them.
I am anxious because Penn State's known for the rushing attack, okay?
They are.
But then you look at Notre Dame, they're outstanding at stopping the run. Mm-hmm. I mean, they held Georgia to 66 yards. They held Indiana to 63 yards. I mean, that's unbelievable. It's like an average of 2.
Well, the yards per carry. The thing that was impressive is that physical front 7. As I mentioned, front 7 is very physical.
Riley Leonard doesn't get sacked.
Well, on that side, he threw the ball. So, I mean, that was as physical a game that Notre Dame has had all year long. Now, you look at this, this game in particular, and making sure that physicality matched. Okay, you might say, the Penn State's got those big guys up front. Notre Dame's offensive line is huge, but they move. They get to the outside. Well, I mean, they're all huge. They're all huge.
2 minutes.
And I think that's the common denominator is just controlling the ball, special teams, as we saw in that Georgia game. On top of it, in Notre Dame, vitally important. So I think being smart with the football, taking care of that ball, and then just ball control there in Notre Dame is going to be huge, or in Miami is going to be huge.
Who needs to win this more? Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame or Franklin at Penn State?
Oh, if you put it like that, I don't think there's any.
Let me rephrase it.
Okay.
Franklin at Penn State or Marcus Freeman at Notre Dame?
It would be Franklin.
I would say Franklin. And then you go, then you can
I don't know, man. Marcus Freeman, I mean,
he's not under any pressure whatsoever.
I think he is for losing early on this season.
No, he is a star there. And he's not going anywhere.
No, I don't mean the guys are getting fired. I mean, I think winning this game for the program in general,
as a
program builder.
Okay.
Not that these programs need to build much, but Penn State had a good year, but they've had good years. Yeah. But to his point earlier, Franklin,
he's checking the box.
Loses all these big games.
Yeah. And he's got a track record of losing the big game. So when you talk about putting that,
but that changed when they were up and they came back to be USC, the 66-8 USC team
in the Coliseum. Well, that was the first step. They were, well, maybe this team has got something special this year. They go into USC, they're down by 14, whatever it was, and they come back and beat USC at USC
10-minute mark.
In that kind of a manner. Was very interesting. So if he can keep checking the box, yes, he would be the one that's got more to gain to silence the naysayers.
All right, let's shift some gears here, and let's get to our underdog picks. By the way, you'll have an opportunity to do some picks with us and one of the ladies here at Twin Peaks coming up around 2:45, so stick around for that. But let's get to our underdog picks.
$1 zillion. The question is, who let the dogs out?
Who let the dogs out? Who let the dogs out? Most weekend bettors prefer to lay their money down on favorites because they can't get their head around backing an underdog. Not Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. They're all about the dogs. Time now for the Guys Dog Picks of the Week on ESPN 620.
All right, Jax.
So it's been a while since we've last done our underdogs. So instead of recapping what we've done, let's recap the standings. In last place, tied for last, I should say, Roc and Manuch, both 8-8.
The headliner to the show.
Jimmy B in second. What a crazy season from you, Jimmy. I'm very proud of you. At 9-7.
Thank you.
Yours truly 12-4. Jackson Groff at top.
And we're gonna let Connor jump on board now, so he's the newest member of the team here. So Connor will give us his pick here too. But the way this works, Connor, you don't say it until we tell you to say something. So you wait patiently there, and then we'll get to you. Are you okay with that?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yo, sir. Wow, sir.
This guy's going to work out great.
Yeah.
That's the first time one of our producers,
right?
Yeah.
The respect is
He
overwhelming.
can kick my ass. He played college football.
Yes.
All right. I'll start us out. I like the Broncos +9. They're not going to win. I don't think they're going to win, but I think they've been a surprise team, at least towards the tail end of the season. I think Bo Nix he has been so impressive. This is a tough ask for him. Bills take it, but the defense for the Denver Broncos will keep it close. They'll still lose, but I'll take the 9.
All right, got it fired off. Fire what off?
Manuch, you played the game, so this should be a no-brainer. Give us your dog of the week.
Got to go Pittsburgh Steelers +9.5 versus the Ravens. Looks like Zay Flowers is out with the knee injury. Even though that the Steelers have lost 4 straight, I think that hopefully this Mike Tomlin-led team, you get their defense together, their act together, especially the offensive side, to get that together. So I'm going to go with the Steelers +9.5 in a playoff game. I'm taking that as my dog.
When was the last time the Ravens have lost to the Steelers?
It was the first time they played this year. Pittsburgh beat them in their first time. And then the Ravens.
I thought they had this crazy stat where they cannot seem to beat the Ravens.
Ravens did beat them a couple weeks ago. Yeah, so
I looked that up.
Yeah, the Steelers beat them the first time, and the Ravens beat them a couple weeks ago.
Manuch, when was the last time you hit an underdog?
It was on the Clemson +12 versus Texas game.
Oh, last week.
Yeah, exactly, man. So I had hit. What are you talking about? Don't be afraid to read the script there, Jack.
All right, Connor, fire it off.
He's not Jimmy the Greek, but he's been calling the games for close to 50 years. Jimmy B, what's your underdog pick of the week?
Well, I was in the same boat with Manuch. I really liked the Steelers in this game at 9.5, but Manuch had beat me to the spot. So I have changed up because I didn't want to do the same one. So I went for the college game tomorrow night, and I am rolling with Texas +6 against Ohio State. We had Charlie Regal on the show in our first hour. Charlie said, don't sleep on the Longhorns, and I took Charlie for his word. I'm grabbing Texas +6.5 against Ohio State.
I'm so excited. I've never done this before. Connor, hit it.
And finally, we figured we'd throw him a bone and get him in the game. Former Montana Grizzly walk-on wide receiver and show producer Jackson Groff. Jax, who you got?
You're welcome.
Wow, Jax.
Yeah.
Get your own open now, man.
Thank you, Rock. I'm going to go. Yeah. It's funny how you made me the open, and I'm going to go against your team, the Eagles. Packers +4.5 is my selection. If you remember last year in the NFC wild card, a guy named Jordan Love went into Dallas and upset him. I'm not saying the Packers are going to win this game, but I think it's going to be one of those sloppy games back and forth. Jalen Hurts coming off a concussion, but give me the Packers +4.5 in Philadelphia. Connor?
Yeah, guys, I think I'm going to follow suit here. I'm going Washington plus the 4. It might be plus the 3, depending where you're shopping at. But I like Washington and Jaden Daniels' playoff debut. I know he's a rookie, but maybe he has a little bit of rookie magic. We saw C.J. Stroud do it not too long ago. And I just think that this Tampa Bay team, for as good as they've been, the injuries are going to catch up to them.
There you have it. So those are our underdog picks for this week, brought to you by the WKP Sportsbook at Weekapaw Casino Resort. Check it out for live sports betting, great food, drinks, and all the big game action. We will be at Weekapaw for the big game. We hope that you'll make plans to join us as we're giving away the cash. We're doing our kickoff challenge for cash, our props for cash, our squares for cash, giving away 4 big screen TVs. They're stepping up with a bunch of giveaways. It's going to be a huge event in their ballroom. Had a walkthrough this morning, and they're ready to go. And they're talking about $4 beers, and they're like, I'm like, we're not used to that. That was one of the complaints that we got in the past was the costs to have some beers and have a good time at the casino was not, didn't make sense. So they're like, nope. We're all about you guys coming up to gamble, and very nice. Yeah, so pretty excited about that. So again, that's February 9th. We're going to be giving away some VIP tables too, with a bunch of perks like overnight stays and things like that. So it's going to be a big deal at Weekapaw, the big game at Weekapaw. So good stuff.
Yeah. On top of that, you look at these playoffs get started. You kind of look and go, okay, out of all of these games you started, what would be the upset? And anymore, you look at injuries like with Flowers.
Right.
You look at the Broncos. Weather's not going to bother them because Denver plays in cold weather. So the Buffalo weather with the storms coming through, and then but the Texans are the one thing that you kind of go, okay, can they recapture what they had last year with C.J. Stroud? They make it in, and then there's the Chargers. Jim Harbaugh, here he goes again. What can he bring as he took the Niners to a Super Bowl when he was there? There's so many factors that can flip a game either way. You talk about Jalen Hurts and reference, is he going to be, how good will he be coming off that concussion? Missed almost 3 weeks.
Yeah, but don't you have more confidence now with what Kenny Pickett has done as the backup QB?
Well, yeah, you do, but he's still not the same game.
I know
that.
It's
not the same
but
game.
He has played well filling in for Jalen Hurts.
And if that happens, if they feel he gets dinged again, they have enough confidence.
Yes.
And that is why the depth or the backup quarterback with all these teams, it's so vitally important to have that guy like a Kenny Pickett that can step in if Hurts does go down, or if this guy goes down, or that guy, whomever that is. The only thing that you really have to take a look at is has that guy had enough experience during the year?
In your estimation as a former QB, Manuch, is Kenny Pickett the best backup right now in the NFL?
I don't know, but he's the best backup. He's he's only been there like 3 years. I think he runs their offense very well.
He does.
I mean, when you look at the best guy, there's many guys that are out there.
I'm not going Justin Fields.
No,
I'm not doing that with the Steelers.
Not Fields whatsoever.
Clayton too.
Come on, man. Well, therein lies where we catch up with Howard Balzer at 3:30. Yeah. That's one of the areas the Cardinals have to go get a solid, experienced backup quarterback that can come in, and not so much he's going to push Kyler Murray for the starting job. It'd be nice, but I mean they got to have that guy if they want to take that next step. You can't have a Clayton Tune or Jim Bob Stevens, a nobody, or a rookie that's going to be able to pick up the slack. But guys, that's
so would you rather see a Joe Flacco if there was a situation where they needed a veteran?
Absolutely, yeah. I think because of his experience in big games, just his experience running an offense, knowing defenses, and not flinching when it comes to big games.
You wouldn't be bothered that Flacco's now 40?
No,
okay.
No, not at all.
He did come out and say he wants to play another year.
Well, and I think that I know that
what about Jimmy Garoppolo? We're talking backups, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he's played 80-something games.
There's the Rams playing well. I mean,
these guys have won. Andy Dalton has won. Carson Wentz has won.
And that quarterback,
veteran quarterback,
or that running back, or that receiver, or that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
To plug in holes, because we all know, guys, it's all about who's healthy, who's injured going to the game. And these general managers want to make sure that these coaches, if they're going to get to that mountaintop, that they have all the right tools. And if somebody goes down, that they can plug and play somebody else that's been there and done that, especially the backup quarterback.
So with Jordan Love, we're talking about him and his elbow. He had a finger issue, but now it's just his elbow, right? So what do you think will happen if he can't go?
God, I don't even know who their backup quarterback is.
Malik Willis.
Yeah, Malik
Willis.
Willis. Yeah.
You know, they've got a whole game plan for him if he has to play.
I'm sure
And
they will.
he hurt his hand against Chicago.
He did.
Yeah, a helmet hit him. One of the opponent's helmet. So
you
he
know,
was limited in practice.
the only thing I can think of is if it's a hand or elbow. If it's an elbow, you can take the shot. You can throw. If it's not something that's going to deter him. If it's a hand, you don't want the hand being numb because that you lose your
you
feel.
can't feel the ball.
Yeah, you lose your feel. And if it's an elbow or something else, guys are going to do whatever they can to play in these playoff games. This is what you played the entire year. You get there, it's like, give me the shot. I can perform, and I'm going to go out there and do what I can do.
From the way that I see the breakdown for this weekend, and it is a tremendous weekend of NFL football, I really think that Jim Harbaugh is going to walk in and take care of the Houston Texans. And I know that the spread is tiny, but I just think that with Herbert there,
He's yet to win a playoff game.
I know, but with Herbert there as his
Who,
quarterback,
Harbaugh?
Justin.
Oh,
Yeah.
exactly, yes.
yeah, and so I just think that it is time, and I think I just think now that the Chargers are a team that went from slow and now they have hit their stride.
All right, stay with this game.
Okay,
Which quarterback needs to win this game? Justin Herbert has never won a playoff game.
correct.
CJ Stroud, of course, we saw what he did when he first came out.
Yep.
Houston, has been a good team the last few years too, and he hasn't been able to get over the hump.
Well, I won one playoff game last year. They did the one playoff game.
But my
I
question
think
is,
Herbert. I think
it's just because I think it's a big game for CJ Stroud too.
Yeah, I think when you watch this Texas team, they've kind of been sluggish with their offense.
They have been in
But
recent
with
weeks.
with Herbert and Jim Harbaugh, I mean, Jim Harbaugh take that team, that downtrodden team from last year, to get him back to playoffs, 11-6 record. I think that Herbert, he's the first or second tier guy. Stroud can get there, but I think Herbert's got to go prove that, hey, we got this new offense, we got this running game, we've got these things that are all the ingredients that Jim Harbaugh wants to do. So I think it's a Herbert to take that next step. He's going to be classified as a top tier guy year in and year out.
Yeah, well, Chargers, they have the top ranked scoring defense. So he can afford to maybe have a mistake or two and hope that the defense can get a couple points.
We were thinking we'd see that against the Cardinals, but they talk about a team that came in and threw their helmet on the field versus the Cardinals. And for the Cardinals to beat them here, might have been the worst game for the Chargers. Probably the best game for the Cardinals.
Yeah.
For that Monday Night Football game. The Monday Night Football game nobody saw because there were two that night. But I think that, when you look at what Harbaugh wants to do with him to manage his quarterbacks, build his quarterbacks up. Hell, look what he did with Colin Kaepernick, for crying out loud. To take that guy to the Super Bowl, and what he has now, Justin Herbert, is volumes more so than what he had with Colin Kaepernick. I just see what Harbaugh does is phenomenal with these teams.
He's just
a player's coach.
He absolutely is.
He absolutely is, and he does things, and he's kind of quirky and kind of goofy, but I think he likes that. I think he likes being that different guy, and obviously his players have bought into that.
Well, they can relate to that.
Yes.
Yeah, they relate to he's not so stoic. I mean, Coach Campbell's the same way.
Yeah, he's
with
kind of goofy around.
He's a hard-nosed football player guy that they can relate to. Former player that can relate and that understands what these guys are going for and how to get them primed, for the season.
We're at Twin Peaks today. Coming up, Rick Horrow, the sports professor. We'll talk about the business side of sports, like the economical impact that the college football playoffs have had and the ratings, things like that. We'll also have a sports update from Jackson Groth. But we are here at the Tempe Twin Peaks locations. You listen to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B now on ESPN 620 and 98.7 HD2.
It's Thursday, and welcome to Lodge Mentality. The guys are live at Twin Peaks Tempe, located in the Tempe Marketplace. Twin Peaks, the ultimate sports lodge and home of the 29-degree beer, served in perfectly frosted 22-ounce mugs. Here's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
All right, Rick Horrow, the sports professor, joins us. You can find him on X at Rick Horrow, and he joins us now. Talk about the business side of sports. How we doing, Rick? What's going on, my friend?
We're doing all right. It's a little cool here. It's 63, but I'm actually sitting out waiting for action to happen on any seat I want in the Orange Bowl / Hard Rock, waiting for things to happen. I figure I'd get there a couple hours early, do a couple of segments, go over and cheer and get free beer over at Penn State, do the same thing over at Notre Dame, sing both fight songs. That's what lawyers do. They're duplicitous. And then we go back and grab more food and more free stuff.
So have you practiced We Are? Have you done that yet?
Yeah, but then, there's too much of a gap between We Are and Penn State. That's done for slow people. You got to move quicker than that.
Hey, I want to get into something before. We'll have plenty of time to talk college football, but I know how much of a golfer you are, and I had the luxury of playing golf with you about a month ago here. And your thoughts?
Luxury is all mine.
Yeah. The thoughts. Your big takeaway from the Tomorrow Golf League, which was founded by Woods and Roy McIlroy. I saw 100+ countries and territories that this thing was seen in. What was your biggest takeaway?
Well, I had the added advantage of getting there early and kind of being there for the whole thing, and it was very interesting. They spent a lot of money making that stadium a basic made-for-TV stadium. There are certain things they got to tweak, like the 50 yards between the tee shots and the simulator in a 4,000-foot kind of cavernous facility where you don't really see the ball come off the tee. You see it on the screen. And then for people that don't know, you take the tee shot, then another one, and when you're 150 yards or in, you go up to the rotating green, and then you drop the ball. Now, I love the idea of having a green where you push the button and it starts rotating. I'm going to mention that to Jack, since he does spare no expense golf course design. Why doesn't he put that in all of his courses, like hydraulic moving of greens? But it is unique. It's new. I heard a lot of people say it's unwatchable. I heard a lot more people say, I love it. And don't ask me today. Basically, ask me in week 8. Because next week, Tiger makes his debut. Right. So that'll be its own promotion. But let's see what happens through the rest of the season.
It sounds as though that it was better for the viewer than it was for the patron. That place was just so big, right?
Is that because you're following up on what I say, or have you heard that from other people?
No, I've heard it from other people, and that's kind of why I wanted to start this segment off, because this is a big deal, and I think a lot of people would like to see that this tech-driven type golf works, and there have been some people that have tried it before.
And the big deal, the biggest issue I think that they've got to deal with for the fans in the stadium is pump in the Van Pelt, Barry, the other television coverage, because there are kind of whispers among the players, and then you hear, seriously, the ball hit the screen, and nobody's going to applaud because every ball's going to hit the screen. And then the bottom line is you got to have the fans know what's going on. So I don't think it's a major issue, but, they just started, so everybody's tweaking.
Sure.
Rick, with this, skin games coming back alive, do you think golf will go more to these? I want to see the top golfers play against each other, whatever the format is.
Yeah, well, look, the golfers love banter. The audience loves golfers' banter. Mm-hmm. And it gives you a really interesting way to make more money and more sponsorship and keep your sponsors alive. Ricky Fowler hasn't had exactly the greatest couple of years, but his sponsors love him being the leadoff guy yesterday and everybody loving it. And frankly, it's the 6 teams. They go through qualifications later at the end of the season, just like a normal playoff. The team that finishes last splits $1.5 million, most of it for charity, obviously, and the team that wins $9 million. Now, for me it's a big deal. For you, it's not. It's chump change for your income. But for everybody else, it's something that raises your eyebrows, and they're going to have a new ought to have a populist play and have you in those black socks play. Oh, that was me. All right. Anyway, one of us is going to do that. And by the way, the other thing is, 134 million people in the U.S. claim they know golf, like golf, play golf, and for the first time, the National Golf Foundation has put Top Golf and Drive Shack and all of that in their world of what golf is. Ironically, last night, the opening of the 17th Pop Stroke happened in the headquarters city with Greg Bartoli in West Palm, and I was there for that. And so you had two, major events in South Florida that represent where golf is going.
I'll follow up with this then, because the live golfers are not involved. Is that ever going to get together, or do you see it staying separate entities for the time being?
It'll get together because the Justice Department is going to ease the restrictions on the negotiations. It'll get together because it can't, just like kart and Indy cars a while ago, they realized it's stupid to stay apart. There is still a little bit of bad blood. I will say this without anybody telling me to, but the decision was made yesterday to put the Live Doral event right across from a senior champions event in Boca Raton called the Hall of Fame Invitational, James Hardy, and there are 52 weeks in a calendar. So I'm just that was unfortunate, let's say. So there's still a little bit of this spite mentality, which will be solved when it's resolved.
Visiting with Rick Coro, the sports professor, live from the Orange Bowl in Miami. Local federal agencies have come out and said that they've kind of ramped up their security. Are you noticing that? I mean, this is your hometown. You've been in the Orange Bowl many, many times. Can you see more local and federal agencies around?
Yeah, a lot of them. Tempered by the fact that I got here, 5 hours for
3 minutes.
I'm sure the lines are going to be longer. This is equivalent to the Sunday drivers mixing with the weekday drivers. A lot of these people rent cars; they have no idea how to get around here, so that's going to slow it down anyway. Plus people from Notre Dame, they're just not that bright. So, wow! Yeah. Wait. There's a story. There's a subplot for that. You know why I'm saying that? Because Pete Pavakwa, who's a good friend, South Floridian, who is now the athletic director of Notre Dame, is within earshot. All right. So.
Great. That's great.
Well, a lot of people are on Notre Dame to win this game. I think there's a lot of people that feel they're going to win. But Texas and Ohio State, your thoughts on them tomorrow?
Well, the playoff, it's ironic. The top two teams coming in.
2 minutes.
You have all of these teams that were mismatches, bad selections. I think the tournament's working out really well. You have 4 teams who are just happy to be there. They got blown out, but they got happy to be there. You got 4 teams who had those amazing home games in the second round, and then the 4 teams that get buys. And now we see the 2 that are going to rise to Atlanta. I'm going to throw my money on Ohio State. Wait, I'm going to throw my money on Texas. Wait, I'm going to throw my money on Penn State.
Where do you do more hits? That's what you care about, right?
I do. The Midwest is okay. You guys don't represent. I'll tell you what. I was really upset last week because you should have won that game.
Yeah,
we agree.
That would have been amazing.
Yeah.
I know you're over it, but you should have won that game.
So Rick, you look at the numbers. We know Rock broke down the TV numbers a little bit earlier. How about the economic numbers for these playoff games per se, and what kind of numbers can we expect for the teams, i.e., in the semis these next 2
Yeah, is the game sold out, Rick? Is the game sold out?
I don't see a lot of people here yet. Oh wait, it's 30.
5 hours.
Okay. I assume it is. I usually don't have to worry about tickets or paying cash or anything, as you know. So I'm a stupid people ask. So I do think that at the end of the day, 10 sites. They have 11 games, but
30 seconds.
The national, at least for couple of years, the national championship returns to a venue where they had one of their bowls this year, Atlanta, next year, Miami. So 10 sites, about $50 to $75 million of economic impact for the early ones. Much more than that for the big one. There are a lot more people who will go to Atlanta on the 20th because they know there's a game there.
Yeah.
They know there are games on the semis, but they don't know who's going to be there.
You guys are good to wrap whenever.
Every year. But I do think that this year is big because everybody wants to be part of the inaugural event.
Rick, enjoy. Sorry you have to do this today. Go to the Orange Bowl, go to a playoff game, but somebody had to do it, right?
Yep.
So we appreciate you, man. Thank you.
But wait. I have one question for you. Did you tell me that Manuch was doing the economic impact analysis earlier?
No, Roc
What
was.
happens after 10?
No, Roc.
What happened?
He's reading my notes.
No. I said Roc broke down the television numbers for us.
I was breaking down the numbers.
Yeah,
Clearly.
I want to know the economic numbers from one Rick Horo.
Yes, I got it. But when Roc breaks down the numbers and it gets over 10, does he have to take off the socks?
Oh, jeez. Goodbye, Rick. Thank you, buddy.
Thanks, Rick.
That's Rick Horo. Follow him on Twitter at Rick Horo. He's brought to you today by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. Interact, need a check, make one call. That's all, 977-1900. And always at lernerandrowe.com. Again, one call does it all, 602-977-1900. All right, we need a contestant to challenge one of the beautiful girls here from the Tempe Twin Peaks location. The phone number, will take the fifth caller, 602-230-0620. That's 602-230-0620. Fifth caller, next on Roc and Manuch with Jamie B, ESPN 620.
Mark your calendars for Sunday, February 9th, because the only place you'll want to be is at Wecopa Casino Resort. This year, we're not just watching the big game. Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B are giving away cash. Yes, you heard it right. Get ready to win big with our amazing cash prizes just for watching the game. Here's how you can score cash. $25 squares game every quarter, $100 prop bets, and
Hey, fellas, we didn't get a call in yet. Not sure if you guys might want to have someone call.
it's at our progressive jackpot that keeps growing with every touchdown scored. Doors open at 2 and it's first come, first served. No purchase necessary. Just make sure you're 21 or older and a Wecopa Fortune Club member. Get ready for the ultimate game day experience with Roc and Manuch with
Hey, fellas, you guys hear me there by chance?
game viewing party at Wecopa Casino Resorts.
Hello.
Worldwide Golf to test drive the new Cobra DS Adapt drivers. The new Cobra DS Adapt drivers are engineered with Future Fit 33, which allows you to unlock more customization than ever before. Built with a larger hot face insert, it delivers robust distance and ball speeds. Fans Golf Shots by Worldwide Golf, proudly serving golfers.
Yeah.
Now, Rick in Phoenix also got his picks into Connor, so we'll go through this quickly. Jax, you talked to her, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, boy, I'm coming to 2025 a little different.
I like that. Yeah. By the way, just for the record, the ladies at Twin Peaks are 10-5 over our listeners. But here's the deal: that was an old station, so we have smarter. We have new listeners now, right? So let's start better.
Jimmy Brinson.
Yeah. All right. So let's start with the first one, the Orange Bowl. Of course, that's the one tonight, 5:30, Penn State, Notre Dame. We just talked to Rick Horrell from there. Who's Yolanda going with?
Yeah, she asked me who I liked, and I told her I was a really diehard Notre Dame fan, so she's picking Notre Dame as well.
Very good. All right, Connor, where did Rick go with?
Oh, he's a big Drew Allard fan, so he's going Penn State all the way.
Nice.
Yeah, I
All
like
right,
that.
second game, the Cotton Bowl, number 5. Texas taking out Ohio State mañana. All right, Jackson, which way did Yolanda go?
Yeah, she's going Ohio State.
Yeah, no question.
There's no real chance.
All right, Connor. How about Rick?
Yeah, Rick was going with you. He likes the wide receivers there for Ohio State as well.
All right, then we'll go to the NFL, the Chargers and the Texans. All right, Jax, what do we have?
She's going Chargers, Jimmy.
All right, and Connor?
Yeah, Rick here is going with the Texans. He likes a little bit of the Houston Magic.
Okay.
All right, last one. This is on Amazon Prime, 6 o'clock on Saturday. Steelers, Ravens. Again, these just pick up, not a spread. So, Yolanda?
So she said her dad's a big Steelers fan.
All right.
She's going with the Steelers.
You got that much out of that already?
Little conversation. I'm a talker, I'm a social guy.
It's 2025.
Big changes for Jack.
No phone number, though.
That's all right. We were still on the air for another hour and 10
Yeah,
minutes.
you still got a shot.
All right, Connor, what did Rick go with?
Yeah, Rick said no Zay Flowers, no problem. Baltimore Ravens, they're covering.
All right, good stuff there. All right, our Twin Peaks pick 'em thanks to our friends at Coors Light and Blue Moon. This is the place, 5 locations in the Valley: Glendale, Scottsdale, Phoenix, Deer Valley, and where we are today, that's Tempe, at the Tempe Marketplace. So we appreciate Yolanda with her picks, and we'll continue on here on Roc and Manuch.
Man, look at Jax. He gets his little open on the dogs, and then he's a little more verbal with the gals here. Jack's kind of growing up on us here, Rock.
By the way, Jim Nantz is set to call his 500th NFL game this Sunday.
That's an amazing stat.
Been
What do you think
broadcasting
about
the
it?
mid-'80s. He's been around Jim.
Yeah,
Nantz?
he has been.
How many? If you were going to guess,
Uh-huh.
how many play-by-play games? Because you've never stayed at a network more than 2 years? You said
No, I'm not joking about that. I've been at the network, but I jumped from local stations.
Yeah,
I
okay.
did that. Yeah.
Okay.
How many games have I called?
Yeah.
Yo, man.
So if you were Manuch, you can tell you exactly how many.
Yeah, right.
We wouldn't be able to fact check
it. I would probably say someplace 600, maybe.
Okay.
I mean, maybe with
Is there one that stands out the most?
one game that
One that
stands out.
stands out the most.
Oh man,
It's got to be what we think it is. You tell us about it all the time.
what, the Jordan game?
Yeah. Why wouldn't it be?
No, it's not. It doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Really? Because you witnessed something before anybody else?
I did, but I fell into that by accident. Nobody knew he was going to be the star of stars.
Aren't you in that documentary on Netflix, too?
I was.
Last Dance?
Yes, I was. Yeah,
Nice.
but I didn't recognize it at that time, obviously.
Okay.
But if there was something that I got to think about that. That's really tough. If you try to nail me down to one
Okay.
game.
All right. Why don't you give us your top 3?
Top 3.
See, because I think you've been lying about you being a play-by-play guy. We have. How can you not? I mean, me as a little PR guy. I mean, whatever, being to go to Fiesta Bowls or whatever, I can easily fire off a game or two.
But
I know Manuch could probably give you his top 3 games.
Well, that he played in, sure.
Yeah, well, it's the same thing. You're a professional.
No, I've done so many, they all kind of blur together.
4 minutes.
I mean, if you're going to put the Jordan game on top, okay.
No, I'm asking you.
I know that, but the only reason the Jordan game is on top is what Jax just said. I was in The Last Dance. It gets played. I get calls all over the country to come on radio shows.
When's the last time you went on another radio show to talk about that?
When they did the Jordan Last Dance.
Really?
Yeah.
You never told us this. How long have we been working together?
I
5
know.
years?
Jimmy, why would I mention it?
Well, you mentioned everything.
No, I don't.
You always mention everything you've done. You told us you just went to the bathroom. I mean, we know exactly what you're doing. Jeez. So really, I mean, there's really not. I'll drop it if I don't have it.
Jimmy, what game sticks out the most?
That's what I asked them, Manuch. I think exactly same words.
Maybe I do it a little more. What game say, just Jimmy, it's something's got to go bang.
All right.
The broadcast.
All right. I summed it up at least at this point.
No, I don't have to make it up. This one just popped in. SEC game, Kentucky, South Carolina, game on the line.
Oops.
No, football.
Oh, really?
Football, yeah.
Kentucky football?
Yeah. And I'm calling the game. It comes down to this. Time running out in the game, and South Carolina kicks about a 40-yard field goal. The ball hits the crossbar and bounces over, so it was good. So from that standpoint, that made every highlight on ESPN the next day or two.
How much was South Carolina favored by?
I don't remember.
A couple
that.
touchdowns. That's what I said.
No. Kentucky was decent at that time.
I thought Kentucky basketball versus.
Were they in the SEC back then?
Yes, they were.
Come on, how far back did we go?
Probably in the.
All right, Manuch, I know you're dying to tell your favorite game you played in.
Probably the playoff game in San Diego.
We're back Thursday here.
Yeah, really. Have to be the San Diego Chargers playing in a playoff game. Dream come true. I should be playing in a playoff.
You're a holder, right?
No, I had 2 scrambles. One for 12.
How were you even in the game?
Because Joe Ferguson
He played for the Chargers?
No, he played for the Buffalo Bills.
You said the Chargers.
No, I said against the Chargers game playoff.
So everybody just assumes they know you played for Buffalo.
Absolutely, they do. Absolutely, not play for the Buffalo Bills. But yeah, that was 2.5. That was to be like. You get you had Dick Enberg and Merlin Olsen talking about you. Number one, you grew up watching those guys, and then they're talking about.
Basically, you got their autograph. That's them getting your.
Hey, Manuch, can you come say something on Saturdays? They have those headshots. You go in there, and I'm like, wow, Dick Enberg, Merlin Olsen. Hey, how was that first and foursome? I mean, he was engaging.
Yes.
So you're out there taking your photo, your headshot. So it was fun to be national TV playoff game. Growing up watching playoff games. To get have 18 yards total rushing in that game, in one game complete, drive the team down the field, but Nick Mickemeyer pulls it left for the field goal.
I just thought of another one quickly. Golden State Warriors, I get a call. This is in the mid-'70s. I'm working in San Francisco. They need me to fly to New Orleans to do the Warriors and, at that time, New Orleans Jazz, which later they moved to Utah. Guess who's playing in the game? Pistol Pete Maravich.
Oh, man, that must have been fun.
I knew he just needed to get you warmed up a little bit.
I know. I had to think about something.
Robinson lives in Altuve, I think.
Yeah.
You got to get the
Hey, Rock, can I ask you something for Throwback Thursday?
No, I'm not part of this.
No, I was going to ask you, when was your best Ohio University party memory?
Moment?
Probably when I went to West Virginia. I was up under a pool table. No, I used to be the social chairman, and we used to have these 6-ways.
You, the social chairman?
Yeah, it'd be like 4 sororities. Yeah, 4 sororities and 2 fraternities.
What? The social chairman?
Yeah, really.
Really? There's a stretch.
The guy who doesn't like to do anything.
Yeah, so we'll have a couple beers. I'll tell you some stories. These guys wouldn't understand. Yeah. So, hey, coming up in hour number 3, what needs to be addressed for the Cardinals? Howard Balzer will join us. Plus, he brought up Golden State. There's some rumors flying. Kevin Durant reuniting with Steph Curry. We will get into that next. It's Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, ESPN 620.
I'll just take.
Progressive knows finding your new home was a dream come true. You wanted it close to town with a picture window overlooking a yard. And you found it. Now, when you sit down to dinner, you've got front row seats too. Your neighbor's daily pickleball game. Progressive can't save you from your noisy neighbors, but we can save you money when you bundle your home and auto with us. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers not available in all states.
Get in zone, AutoZone. Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Thinking about gas mileage? You know, changing your oil with a full synthetic oil like Mobil 1 can help your engine get more miles. Right now, you can get 5 quarts with an STP extended life oil filter for only $38.99. Get started on your next job today with the parts you need when you need them at AutoZone or AutoZone.com.
Get in zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm. If you own a timeshare, don't miss this public service announcement from Chuck McDowell, founder of Wesley Financial Group.
If you receive an unsolicited phone call or mail piece to discuss selling, renting, or especially canceling your timeshare, don't fall for it. If you really want out of your timeshare, hang the phone up immediately or throw that mail piece in the trash and contact your timeshare resort or Wesley Financial Group for assistance with your timeshare. As the only Inc. 500 timeshare cancellation company, our knowledge, experience, and results has made Wesley a trusted resource for over 40,000 families we've helped get out of their timeshare. Give us a call and I'll send you our timeshare exit information kit free with the straight facts about your timeshare and all of your options for cancellation.
Call for your free info kit, 800-837-1919, 800-837-1919, 800-837-1919.
You may not have any experience dealing with car wrecks, but Learn on Row does. After your car wreck, you need an attorney to make sure your interests, like car repairs, medical bills, and lost wages, are protected. Finding the right attorney is actually easy. Just look for reputation, experience, and results. Learn on Row has thousands of 5-star reviews, decades of experience, and we've recovered billions of dollars for our injured clients. Hurt in a wreck and need a check? Call.
I got about 30 seconds left in this break.
Call 977-1900.
Twin Peaks is the best in the game. Here, your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights. I mean, where else can you find a scratch kitchen that always comes in clutch? Every day, from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks.
Coming to you guys here in 5 seconds.
Always adding exciting cocktails to the menu, like the expertly balanced Sincoro Hall of Fame Margarita. Try it.
Yeah, I added some.
Arizona's home.
I put a little red highlight thing on the drive. It's like a 55-second.
And now, an on-air sports marketing presentation.
No, let's go with Barkley. Yeah, go with Barkley.
It's rockin'.
Okay, I'll have that Barkley ready for you guys. I'm going to go Mike's Hot now.
620, 98.7 FM HD2, and streaming live at ArizonaSports.com. The guys are powered by the law offices of Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And now on your ESPN station in Phoenix, ESPN 620, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
Hope you're having a great Thursday afternoon. A little windy. We're outside the patio here at the Tempe Twin Peaks. We'll be here for another hour. We're going to get a Buckeye update here in about 10 minutes from Steve Hellwagon, so he will join us. You're also going to hear from Charles Barkley, who was on the morning show, Arizona Sport with Bickley and Murado, had some interesting stuff to say, so we'll have that. But I saw a story. It was a interesting hypothetical that is getting some play right now, and it has to do with Kevin Durant in a hypothetical trade to have him go back to the Golden State Warriors. And, you look at the run they made when he was there. 3 straight titles or championship game series. Just what a dynasty that was with Golden State. Well, there's a hypothetical out there that has a proposed trade that would send KD to the Warriors for Buddy Hyde, Andrew Wiggins, Jonathan Kuminga, and Kevon Looney. Okay. And I don't know if that could fly, but if they could reunite Steph Curry and Kevin Durant, now that he's 36? I would take that trade.
Look, I can tell you right now, after I watched the NBA game last night between Oklahoma City and Cleveland.
What a game.
It was a sensational NBA game. Every time those teams came down, they went right to the basket. And they were so aggressive, something that the Phoenix Suns are not. And they are soft. They have no rim protection. They don't rebound worth a damn for the most part, and they struggle to play defense.
You know, Jimmy, it's interesting because you talked about the bit yesterday going to the rim. That was good old-fashioned basketball.
It was awesome.
I mean, OKC, going back and forth, and then Cleveland found a way to win that game. But I'm like, oh my gosh, this is real basketball being played. Yeah. Was it 95 threes in the game being combined by both teams?
It's interesting. I can't remember a regular season basketball game where I had friends texting me, say, are you watching this?
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really good game. What? I mean, I didn't even have it all right then. And I turn on my, shoot, what am I missing here?
It was like an NBA playoff game. It really was. The intensity was great.
It was one of the better games I have seen probably this year because they start hoisting the three, but they were and it was intense.
It was
almost like, is this a precursor to the NBA Finals kind of thing? Okay,
could be. But let me just follow up with what Rock talked about, that hypothetical deal. I would do that in a heartbeat.
I would too. Yeah.
Just because it would change the total dynamic of your team. And what did I just talk about? You have no aggressiveness. Kuminga's really aggressive. So is Kayvon Looney as well. He's aggressive on the glass and defensively. It would change the dynamic of the way that the Phoenix Suns would play.
So Charles Barkley was on Arizona Sports this morning with Bickley and Murata. And, when he's on, you got to listen, right?
Sure. So must listen.
It was must listen. And there's a great story up on ArizonaSports.com right now talking about Bradley Beal coming off the bench, the fact that he's been, he thinks that he has the right to be petty and basically talks about Jimmy Butler. But one thing that he did talk about, and we're going to play for you right here, is leadership. And, where's the leader on this Phoenix Suns team?
They don't have a Mark West type person. They don't have a Dan Marley. You're just really tough guys. They got some really good players. The one thing your best players have to be is tough mentally. You just can't go and play basketball because you have to hold the other guys accountable. They don't have that. Kevin's a great player. But he doesn't want to be a leader. He says that. I just want to play basketball. Well, it's not that simple when you're the best player. There's a tremendous amount of responsibility that goes with that. I said to you guys last year, maybe Devin could be that guy. But I think Devin's a hell of a player. But I think he's just too nice of a guy also. He doesn't hold the other guys accountable. So I think that's why they really want to get Jimmy Butler. So Jimmy's not going to have none of this stuff going around here.
Again, that's Charles Barkley this morning on Arizona Sports, Bickley and Murata.
All right, let me just address the Butler thing quickly. A lot of conversation now coming out of Miami that the Heat are not happy at all with some of the opportunities that other general managers have called and offered them, and they're looking right now for Butler to return to the court this coming weekend for the Miami Heat. He would be off that 7 games.
Whether he likes it or not.
That's it.
You hear Charles talk about that, and you just kind of go, okay, so who's the alpha dog as far as the guy on the court? It could be Devin, it could be Katie, but there's that red ass guy in the locker room and say, "Hey, look,
there's no Chris Paul.
Pick up your game. Yeah. You need to do this. They don't have that.
They don't have it.
Sorry to say, great bunch of guys, nice guys, but nobody's there to hold each other accountable. And on top of this trade, I'd be for it as well too, because whatever's been going on with these big three is not working for the Suns. Budenholzer, who knows his experience. Okay, we got to shoot at least 43s per game. That's not working. So in order to blend that up, get this team, Matt Ishby at this time's going, guys, what the hell's going on? So Budenholzer and James Jones would say, look, here's what's not going on, and this is why we probably should make this move if we want to go forward. Eat crow with KD, move him on, but here's if we're going to win and make at least the play-in game, we have to have this kind of mix in order to win.
So this afternoon, Kendrick Perkins came out from ESPN, and he has sources that is claiming that the Suns have a 2-year, $121 million extension waiting for Jimmy Butler, and that Kevin Durant wants Jimmy Butler, and if he does get Jimmy Butler, they're both going to sign contract extensions. All right, let's just all right, it's not my money.
Sure.
Are you want to give these guys, $200 million for a 35 and 36-year-old?
I'm not doing that.
I'm not either.
I'm not doing that.
And I think
the entire these players running the league
because I haven't gotten any rewards from what I'm paying them right now.
Very good.
There's no freaking reward.
Show something.
Yes, give me something.
Get swept.
Yeah,
let me see some.
give me something.
I want to see production.
Exactly.
If I'm going to pay that kind of money. I don't want to see have a chance to make a play. I want to see a chance to win a Western Conference.
Let me say this about Butler. Would he improve the Suns? Yes, a little bit.
Yeah, he would.
But they're still not a team that's going to win an NBA title, even if they acquire him.
It's interesting because there's other teams. There's the Rockets, there's the Mavs, there's the Grizzlies that are being rumored and being mentioned too. You wonder if those talking heads in those markets right now are all saying, "Wow, let's trade so and so for Jimmy Butler. He's going to get an extension and this and that." But this is going to come to an end very soon, very soon. And
Steve's on the line whenever
I would love it. I mean, if it can happen. But all right, let's get to it. It's 5 straight days of football. Playoff football. Of course, tonight it's Notre Dame and Penn State. Tomorrow, the Buckeyes and the Texas Longhorns. And joining us now, always nice enough to talk some Ohio State football, Steve Hellwagon from 24/7 Sports, and he joins us down on the Right to It guest side. Steve, what's going on, man? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year. Beautiful Dallas, Texas, where the current temperature is 35 and there's ice falling from
Yep. No, the Metroplex is
somehow we get this draw, and Penn State and Notre Dame are in Miami.
Well, you should feel right at home, Steve.
But it's only 60 degrees in Miami.
Yeah, oh well, anything's better than this.
Steve,
it honestly hasn't hit as bad as people thought it was going to. I think we're going to be okay.
Good.
For an on-time departure tomorrow night for the game. So there you go.
All right, Steve, we had you on a few weeks ago talking about this Buckeye team. Everybody was all concerned after the Michigan loss, and then here they are, just been dominating. Is everything okay in Columbus now? Is the bus all right?
Yeah, it seems like, 2 dominating performances. They beat Tennessee pretty handily. And then, obviously, in the Rose Bowl, just jumped all over the number 1 team, the only undefeated team, Oregon, and got out to a 34-0 lead in that game. So, I don't know that we'll see that tomorrow night here. Texas, I think, is pretty good defensively, but the Buckeyes are playing their best football at the right time. I'll just say that.
You got this law firm of Howard, Henderson, and Smith at your receiver. They're clicking. Where was that, number one, the Michigan game, and what happened between the Michigan game and the first playoff game for them to be clicking like they are?
Yeah, nobody will really admit this, but I think Howard in the second quarter of the game ran the ball, and he got banged up pretty good, and he didn't play very well after that. He was a little skittish, I think, in the pocket, and just didn't play very well after that. And they said he passed the concussion test and all that, but his play on the field wasn't he's ordinarily a 73% passer, and he was barely completing 50% of his throws after that hit. So I think Chip Kelly didn't call a very good game that day. They kept running it into Michigan's front with Grant and Graham, the 2 guys there, who are pretty good players. And so, resulted in a loss. And then they took the 3 weeks after that game to get ready for Tennessee and really, energize the offense. And obviously, when you've got a weapon like Jeremiah Smith, you get the ball in his hands any way you can do it. And I thought, as bad as Chip Kelly and the offense were against Michigan, I thought that was a masterclass last week in the Rose Bowl. Just he had the Ducks chasing shadows all afternoon there at the Rose Bowl.
Steve, talk about Jeremiah Smith. I mean, you'd see this kid come in. He's got all this talent. I mean, how much has he grown from the standpoint as a true receiver with this offense for Chip Kelly to be able to trust him with the football, or at least have Howard go his way many times?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. His very first game back at the beginning of the season, the first pass that was thrown to him, he dropped it. And I don't think he's let anybody down since then. So, he has been fabulous. 14 touchdowns on the season. And the OSU record is 17 by Terry Glenn way back in 1995 when he won the Litnikoff Award. And they had pretty good teams back there in the mid-'90s. And so he's on the verge of, rewriting the record book, not only as a freshman, but just for all receivers, all the guys who've come through there. So he's been uncanny. There was one picture from the Rose Bowl. He's high pointing a football, and he's 1.5 feet above the two Oregon defenders. I just don't know how it's like Randy Moss. I just don't know how you defend somebody who's got that kind of leaping ability, and he excels at the hard-to-make catch, that's for sure.
How do you compare him to Marvin Harrison Jr. when you watch him and think of Marvin last year?
Yeah, Marvin, to me, was a guy that he would have the spectacular play every now and then, but if you just wrote down his stats before the game and said, we know today we can mark Marvin down for 8 catches for 110 yards and 1.5 touchdowns. I mean, it was just kind of every week, you just knew what you were getting. With Smith, it kind of varies. It's kind of up and down a little bit, but I'd say that's the thing. I mean, and really, he's just an uncanny specimen. I just, I no other way to really put it. I mean, some of the things he's done are just freakish.
Is he being paid well? There's no other school that's going to come in and try to pay him, $10 million?
Well, there's a funny story. I'm sure he is, and I don't know specifics on what his salary cap number is, but, they have a backup defensive end by the name of Mitchell Melton, number 17. And he played in the Rose Bowl, and he played pretty well. Well, it came out this week he's entering the portal. They're losing the 2 starting defensive ends. Sawyer and Tuimoloau are leaving. Melton has another year where they've got 2 guys, Caden Curry and Kenyatta Jackson, who are kind of slotted to be the defensive ends. And Ohio State probably looks at Mitchell Melton and says, no, you're not going to start. And secondly, we can't pay you what whoever wants, let's say, he goes to Notre Dame or Clemson or somewhere else. They value him more than Ohio State does. He's probably already got an offer on the table for more than Ohio State can give him. So he's leaving. And he would have all the playing time in the world if he stayed. So this is the new world that we're living in.
Steve Hellwagon is our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. If indeed Texas were to win this game over Ohio State, and you've been covering this team since 1988, are the idiot fans again going to riot and call for Ryan Day's head?
No, I don't think you'd see that. I think, obviously, to win the last 2 games the way that they did, the Tennessee game was kind of like a religious experience, really. I mean, to have a December home game, I mean, seriously, it was to rout an SEC team, they hadn't had an SEC team play at Ohio State since 1988. So, I mean, and Texas is coming to start the upcoming season. Anybody who wants to put down Ryan Day on the basis of 1 game tomorrow night, that would be a lunatic type behavior, in my opinion. Yeah, I think he's the coach to stay for right now. He's got a contract for 5 more years, and they're not going to pay him $30 million to walk away at this point.
Steve, what's the mantra for this team going into the playoffs? Because they just look so much more like, all right, F it, we're going for it. I mean, it seems like that's kind of the way they went down that road.
Wow, Manuch, you never in my 20 years doing radio you said F it.
I'm getting fired up.
Excuse us, Steve. We apologize for that.
It's that football vernacular coming out of me. Yeah.
Yeah, you just kind of, say the heck with it.
Yeah.
Redemption. I think that's the thing. These guys, Sawyer, Tuimoloau, all these guys, Henderson, who are seniors on this team, Buka, they don't have any championships. They haven't won a Big Ten. They've won a couple Rose Bowls, but, no national championships. So this is the end of their line. And they got 2 games to win a national championship, and that's what they're burning to do. And I think that is a senior-led team. They've got 15 seniors starting, which in and of itself in this day and age in college football is kind of unusual. We've seen all the guys leave to go to the NFL over the years. And now guys are staying because they can make decent money, staying in college for a year, instead of starting their NFL, 10 years. So, those guys want to win. And that's what's really come through is that they had a story after the Michigan game. They aired out all their grievances, and then they stood in a circle and held arms and said, let's go get this done. And 2 games into it, their methods are working pretty well.
I would say so. I know that you have taken a look at Texas. If Texas were to upset Ohio State, what would Texas have to do, in your estimation, to win the game?
I think turnovers are going to be critically important in this game. And Quinn Ewers will throw an occasional interception. Will Howard had 2 against Michigan, but otherwise hasn't thrown very many. And Texas's defensive backs, they have 2 DBs with 5 picks. And one of them, Jahdae Barron, was the Jim Thorpe Award winner. They've got an All-American at linebacker, Anthony Hill. They've got an All-American up front with Alfred Collins on defense. So they've got some really good players on their defense. And I just feel that perhaps somebody will commit a turnover, force a turnover that really changes this thing maybe in the second half. But, if Texas can get a couple Ohio State turnovers, they could have a chance. But slowing down Ohio State's offense is going to be difficult. And Ohio State's defense, since the loss to Oregon way back in October, they've only allowed about 11 or 12 points per game since then. They've played lights out. So, for Oregon to get 21 last week, and all of those were, in garbage time after Ohio State had buried them, that kind of says it all.
Steve, you think of that front 7 you guys have, and to your point, yes, since that Oregon game, this team's played very well. The linebacking play has just been phenomenal for you guys. I just talk about that in reference to how Ryan Day pretty much relies on his linebacker-led defense. That's why they played so well.
Yeah, no doubt. Sonny Styles is a physical specimen. He played safety last year. They bumped him up, and his progression from game 1 to game 14 has been outstanding. And then, of course, Cody Simon. Ohio State hasn't had an All-American linebacker in a few years. He's probably the closest thing to it that they've had in the last 5 to 8 years. And going back to like Jerome Baker, Raekwon McMillan, a few years ago. So, he really sets the tone. He was the MVP, defensive MVP of the Rose Bowl, 11 tackles and 2 sacks. Sawyer and Tui Maloau each had 2 sacks. If they can get after Ewers like that tomorrow, then Texas does not have a shot. But, Simon, he's been fabulous. He's number 0. He wears the Block O jersey, which is given to the guy who most exemplifies being a Buckeye. And he's done it on and off the field, no doubt.
So you've talked about the high-powered offense that Ohio State has shown the last couple of games against this Texas defense. In your estimation, is this a 10-point, 12-point, 14-point win for Ohio State, or do you see it closer?
Yeah, I think it's going to be closer. I know the odds makers have it like 5-6 points, something like that. I picked 34-26 Ohio State. A lot of back and forth in this game, and I do think Texas is going to make some plays. What I don't like about Texas is that, like Ohio State, they've both gotten out to great starts in each of their 2 playoff games. They had early leads on Clemson and Arizona State, and then they kind of played with their food in the second half, and Clemson got it back down from 21 down to 7, and Arizona State got it down from 16 to forced the overtime. So, Texas isn't finishing games the way you'd like to see it, and whereas Ohio State has played 2 full 4-quarter games. So that's the difference to me in this thing, is that Ohio State's built for 60 minutes, and I'm not sure Texas is. Let's see them put 60 minutes together tomorrow.
See, my last one, Will Howard, coming from my alma mater, Kansas State, really has played well these last 3 games. We miss him, but how has he grown in this Chip Kelly offense? What has been his biggest leap or growth in this offense?
Yeah, he's been fabulous. I mean, other than the Michigan game, as I said, he got banged up and threw the 2 interceptions, but otherwise, he's been an outstanding quarterback for the Buckeyes, a leader on and off the field. He's involved with Chip Kelly and Ryan Day in the game planning discussions and everything else. He's been everything they could have hoped for, in a quarterback, short of not winning the Big Ten. He's he's done everything, and that wasn't entirely on him, certainly. But, yeah, I think he
3.5 minutes
for them to fall in their lap the way that he has. And he's got them on the cusp of a national championship here. But, got to go out there tomorrow night and prove it all over again. This new format with these high-powered games every 8 to 10 days, this is a gauntlet, and we've never seen anything like it in college football. And we're in the thick of it right now.
Who do you like tonight, Steve?
Notre Dame, and not by a wide margin, but I do like Notre Dame. Them beating Georgia, even without Carson Beck, to me, that's the best win either of these two teams have. Penn State really hasn't beaten anybody. SMU and Boise, neither one, were what their seed said they were. So I think they've got to fix the seeding for this thing going forward. I have no problem with Boise having a seat at the table, but for them to be a top 4 seed was a joke. So, same, for SMU. So, or Clemson rather, however it was, but
2.5.
They got a seed at 1 through 12 in how good the teams are. But Penn State's got Aller, but I just think Notre Dame's defense is too tough, and we'll see tonight how it plays out.
Steve, thank you as always, buddy. Stay warm there. We appreciate you. Hopefully, we'll be talking to you before the national championship if the Buckeyes continue on, which I think they will.
Let's make a date to do that. Well, let's do that.
Let's do it. Tradition. That's right. That's Steve Hellwagon joining us. Bucknuts at 24/7 Sports. And you can follow him on Twitter if you're a Buckeye fan. He's a must follow. Steve Hellwagon. That's 1L Wagon on Twitter. So appreciate him taking some time from his busy schedule there at the Cotton Bowl. Wow, I didn't know that the Metroplex was getting bombarded.
Oh,
with
yeah.
weather.
Yeah, they're going to get hit with a ice storm, and it's not just today, but it's also tomorrow as well.
What is it with both you and Manuch? You guys know weather better than anybody. Is that when you get to a certain age? Like, I'm 56, so when will it be that instead of watching sports and news, and you go right to weather?
Okay, I'll tell you why I was so tuned into it, because I had to catch airplanes to go call games, and you always had to take a look at the weather, particularly in the wintertime when you're doing, like, basketball.
So it's routine for you now,
routine
even
for
at
me.
this, you haven't called games in a while.
Yeah, and for me, at 92, I still look at it.
And for me, it's not about the local weather, but you watch and you say, okay, what's the weather going to be like for those particular games, how it's going to affect the team that's west of the Mississippi, those east of Mississippi, but you just kind of see. But once you get used to knowing what's going to happen here locally, you kind of pay attention to all the other stuff that's going on.
Like, Rock, you're freezing your ass off right now.
I will, yeah. I am good.
I'm okay.
I probably will call out sick tomorrow because this is ridiculous how cold it is right now outside. We're broadcasting from Twin Peaks in Tempe on the patio.
Got a minute here.
We had the whole patio to ourselves. There's nobody, not one other person other than Rock, Manuch, Jimmy B, and Jack.
And I always change the wind chill factor. Yeah, 60 degrees. Wind chill factor is 56 degrees out here right now.
How do you get 56?
Because it just says on my thing.
So your what thing?
On my phone? On my phone, yeah.
You get the weather app?
Absolutely, I got the weather. I always have it. 62 degrees. Wind chill factor 56 degrees right now. So Tempe 62, wind chill 56.
So what is USA Today's Cardinals beat writer Howard Balzer think the Cardinals need to do in the offseason? He will join us next, but first we'll have a sports update from Jackson. This is Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620 and 98.7 HD2.
Mark your calendars for Sunday, February 9th at Wecopa Casino Resort. This year, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B are giving away cash while you watch the big game.
They didn't give you guys like a space heater or something?
Quarter, $100 prop bets, and the kickoff challenge. Earn $1 for every yard and every.
They didn't get you guys a space heater or anything?
He's been covering the National Football League for close to 50 years. A longtime NFL writer, broadcaster, and co-host of the Pro Football Hall of Fame show on Sirius XM. A Hall of Fame voter, Howard Balzer. Now on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
That's right. Howard joins us now on the Right Toyota Guest Line. How we doing, Howard? Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year to you. Happy new landing spot. And hope that 2025 is a great year for everybody.
We appreciate that very much. So we want to talk Cardinals offseason. And I know defensive end, edge rusher has been the talk. That seems to be a very popular position. But I want to get your thoughts on a running mate with Harrison Jr. I mean, someone out there's a really good list of free agent wide receivers out there. I'd just love to get your take on that.
I'm glad you asked that because I think that is crucial for the offense. Like you said, whatever you want to call it, a running mate, whatever it is. Yeah. I mean, I think we all love Michael Wilson. I'm not convinced that he's a true number 2 guy. He'd be great in a number 3 role, along with Greg Dortz, bringing him back in the slot. But having a real quality number 2 guy, I think would really upgrade the offense. Now, whether that comes in free agency, you mentioned, T. Higgins. Yeah. Looks like he's going to be a free agent. There's always excellent players in the draft, and this year will be no different. And where the Cardinals are picking, there'll be probably some very good receivers. I mean, heck, look at a guy like Brian Thomas, who was the 4th receiver taken in the first round by Jacksonville, and he ended up putting up some obviously very impressive numbers as a rookie. So I'm not saying that's the number 1 need, but if you were to look at the offense and say, what does the offense really need? I think it's that, and I think it's also a potential upgrade on the offensive line. I don't know, what happens with Will Hernandez. He's going to be a free agent coming off a serious knee injury. Jonah Williams signed only a 2-year deal because of previous knee injuries. And what happened? He suffered 2 more. So I'm not convinced that he'll be back. So I think that right side of the offensive line is something that they'll be looking at also when it comes to the offense in the offseason.
Yeah, I think you nailed it. I talked about that the other day. This offense needs some juice. They need that home run hitter. They don't have that true home run hitter that can explode it on one particular play. And I think you're right on with somebody that can really expand the offense deep to underneath and have that capability on any kind of pass play.
And look at the teams right now that are in the playoffs. When you look at Minnesota with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, is it Jordan? Whatever. Yeah, I think it was Jordan. You look at even the Rams with Cooper Kupp, who's a little bit up there in years, and Puka Nacua. Look at these top teams, and so having 2 receivers, I think, is very, very, very important. And I don't think there's any doubt it's going to be something they'll look at. The question is, where do they get that guy? Do you want to invest free agent dollars in that player, or you go back into the draft and get a guy that you feel that you can develop along with Harrison?
Howard Balzer is our guest on the Right Toyota Guest Line. Howard, at the beginning of the year, we all kind of picked how many wins they would get. And it went from 7 wins to 9 wins. And if they did that, we thought, that would be a really nice improvement over the previous 4-win season. But then everybody got teased. And at the break on the bye week, it was 6-4, leading the division, and it went to hell in a handbasket. So do you still feel that it was a successful season by the improvement of the wins that they got, or are you bummed because it ended the way that it did?
Well, I think you can have both, with that. And I think that disappointment was there because it was right there for them, to take control of. And you had that 3-game stretch, especially with the 2 games against Seattle and then Minnesota sandwiched in between, that they weren't able to find a way to win. And so you can definitely look at that and say, yeah, disappointing. But in the big picture, you have to look at it and say, a team that was still affected by injury, but a team that still found a way to win 8 games. And the other thing about it is this, guys. the Cardinals got to that 6-4 spot by winning 3 really close games. Last minute field goals. At that point, they were 3-2 on the season in one-score games. Then in the home stretch, they lost 3 close games, and so all of a sudden they fall to 3-5 overall. And you're not going to be under 500 in one-score games in this league most of the time and have a winning record. So it comes down to having those key players who can make plays at crucial times, not have penalties at crucial situations, and win those close games. I mean, Minnesota has won a bushelful of one-score games. Kansas City is 11-0 this year in one-score games. So that's what happened down the stretch, and especially the Minnesota game. The whole thing would have looked differently if they didn't lose that 19-6 lead and had managed to win that game, but they didn't. And so it shows that they are getting better. I think they are getting closer, but it also shows what you have to be able to do if you're going to win those games and truly be a playoff team.
You look at Kyler Murray this year, Howard, and you look at, okay, made the season, survived the season. What is it this organization feels about him? Is it just getting more weapons from him, more growth, more development? What's kind of the thought process at the Cardinals complex in reference to moving forward with Kyler Murray?
Yeah, no, I think it's a great question, and I think you hit on something that I think
3 minutes.
This is the first season that Kyler Murray has been with the Cardinals, aside from his rookie year, although he was bothered by a little bit of a hamstring in that season, even though he didn't miss games. But every other year he missed games and had injury issues. This year he did not, was able to play all 17 games. So I don't think that can be, dismissed and overlooked. But overall, in the big picture, he has to get better, no doubt about it. But everyone around him has to be better. And everyone says, well, he had the ball in his hand for all these drives at the end of the games, and they weren't able to win. Well, this isn't tennis or golf, right? You can't do it yourself. You have to have guys get open. You have to have the running, the offensive line for the for the running game. The offensive line protecting him. Not having penalties. Hey, I go back to that Minnesota game. I'm pretty sure that was the one where they had first and goal from the 5-yard line, where a touchdown gives them
2 minutes
and maybe clinches the game, and they had a false start on first down from a rookie tight end, Tip Ryman. So you can't have those things in critical situations when you need scores to find a way to win games. So, like I said, to me, the whole thing about quarterbacks, well, they get the credit when you win, and they get the blame when you lose. That's just the way it is. Well, why is it that way? It doesn't have to be that way. You can look at it analytically and say, well, this is why a lot of things happen. And yes, some of it was Kyler, but there's also an awful lot of things that went around him, that happened around him, that also ended up losing some of those close games that would have made the season different.
Howard, thank you as always. It's going to be an interesting offseason, as it always is with the Arizona Cardinals, especially when we start talking about Kyler Murray too. And you think this will be the last year for him as a Cardinal?
I'm not going to. I hear people
1 minute.
This is a boom or bust year. If they don't make the playoffs or win a game in the playoffs, then you move on from Kyler Murray. Well, how can you say that in advance? You have to see what happens.
Sure.
If they're in the playoffs and they play a good game in the first round against a really good team and they lose, and he plays pretty well, you don't just say, okay, we're going to change our quarterback, because who are you going to change it to? But I do think it's an important year for him and the entire offense to take the next step from what they did this year, which overall, it wasn't bad, it wasn't great, it was middle of the road, and you have to be better than that.
Howard, thank you, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right, guys, take care.
You can follow him on Twitter at HBalzer721. Comes to us today thanks to All City Towing, just down the street here in Tempe. You can join the team at the largest towing company in the state. That is All City Towing. If you're looking for a new career, then head to allcitytowing.com and search careers. That's right, allcitytowing.com. All City Towing, where your future is on the move. Coming up, you're going to hear from Charles Barkley. Says the Suns may have to blow it up. He was on with Bickley and Murata this morning on Arizona Sports, so we're going to bring that back to you as our one call today. Because when Barkley talks, people listen.
Absolutely.
So we'll get into that next. It's Roc and Manuch. Jimmy B from Twin Peaks Tempe.
Hey, it's Dom with Venezia's Pizza. You know us for delicious family dinners and huge party pizzas. But did you know we are great at feeding a large group too? Our full catering menu has a ton of variety. So
Yeah, I don't know if you could hear me, Rock, but I switched up that Charles sound.
just tell us how many people you need to feed and we'll handle the rest. Check out our catering menu at venezias.com. That's venezias.com. Venezia's, a family and catering tradition.
Join us at Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf to test drive the new Cobra DS Adapt drivers. The new Cobra DS Adapt drivers are engineered with Future Fit 33, which allows you to unlock more customization than ever before. Built with a larger hot face insert, it delivers robust distance and ball speeds. Vans Golf Shops by Worldwide Golf. Golfers since 1963 and home.
You guys able to hear me by chance?
Year after year, Lerner Rowe is voted best personal injury law firm in Arizona. You may wonder why. The answer is quite simple. Lerner Rowe is so popular because we give every client excellent service and a superior experience. But also the main reason is results. We've recovered billions of dollars for our clients with over $1 billion collected in the last 5 years alone. Our phone lines are always open and our legal team is standing by right now, waiting for your call.
Lerner & Rowe is the way to go. Call 977.
Check, Rock. You able to hear me by chance?
Your favorite drafts are poured at a frosty 29 degrees, and rare barrel-aged whiskeys are served just the way you want them. It's bigger game days and bolder fight nights.
Check.
Kitchen that always comes in clutch, every day from lunch to late night. Only at Twin Peaks, the #1 sports bar.
Twin Peaks is always adding exciting cocktails to the menu, like the expertly balanced Sincoro Hall of Fame Margarita. Try it at your local lodge today.
Rock for WhiteToyota.com. At White Toyota, they'd like you to get to know them. Their goal is to make buying your next vehicle.
Hey, you guys able to hear me by chance? Quick question for you. Do you want me to come back right to the Charles Barkley sound, or did you want me to do like an intro and then go to it? Okay.
Head to the interactive website at WhiteToyota.com. The right price.
Cool. I'll do that for you. Gotcha. And I switched it up from the first one we played since we already had one.
Trivia. And now the Roc and Manuch Amber by Huts Brewing. Stop by today and experience top sports viewing, off-track betting, daily specials, and ice-cold Roc and Manuch Amber draft.
Yeah, and like I said,
101 in Cave Creek Road. Hey, sports.
We got about 2 minutes left here, and then we'll go ahead and toss to you guys to wrap up. And then this one's going to be the hard 56-50 out.
Sportsbook at TPC Scottsdale, the area's best kept secret for sports entertainment. With 20.
Yeah, so what I'm kind of doing is I'm playing that ESPN
The guys are live at Twin Peaks Tempe, located in the Tempe Marketplace. Twin Peaks, the ultimate sports lodge and home of the 29-degree beer, served in perfectly frosted 22-ounce mugs. Here's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B on ESPN 620.
All right. Out here at the Tempe location for Twin Peaks, 5 locations. Get ready for tonight's Penn State Notre Dame game. Charles Barkley was on with the morning show over at Arizona Sports, particularly in Murata, and I was driving around, and of course Barkley, I'm a big fan. I mean, I moved here when he did. I follow. He's a Sixer, and then became.
You guys are connected.
Yeah. Moved here at the same time. 92 was it? Yeah, I think it's when
you guys boys.
We're tight, man. I play golf with him all the time.
Oh, yeah.
$1,000 a hole.
Help him with his swing. I know you.
Yeah, I'm the one who needs help with my swing. Anyway, we played a little bit earlier, but if you do get an opportunity to go to ArizonaSports.com, right on the front page, about his thoughts about Bradley Beal and leadership and things like that. But here's about a minute of him talking about the Suns may need to blow it all up.
Well, they're right at the time because you have to look at this in the big picture. Let's say hypothetically you bring in Jimmy Butler. First of all, he's going to want a contract extension. And the big elephant in the room that nobody's talking about, they've got to make a decision on Kevin Durant, who's an older player. Because, he only got one more year left on his contract. So then you say, wow, I'm going to have 2 older players making $70, $80 million. Devin Booker's a high-paid guy. We got to win the championship in the next couple of years because guys only get older. I mean, the one thing I know about old people, they don't get better, they just get older. I always laugh when you see older players get hurt and people say, well, when he gets better, I says, well, the only thing older people are going to do is die. They ain't going to get better. Especially in sports. You don't get better in sports as you.
That's the end here.
You just die on the court.
It's Charles Barkley on Arizona Sports.
He's right, though.
Beasley and Murata.
Things just don't happen as they do every day.
Look, I'm with him 100%. We had a discussion earlier about how there is no real dog as far as leadership on that court. Now that Chris Paul is gone, they don't have that. They're soft. They have a tendency to play soft, particularly, it seems, in the second half. And they're in a situation right now where Bradley Beal holds all the cards. It's up to him.
And he'll tell you that.
And he'll tell you that. He has told us that.
And he did that.
I'm the guy. I'll let you know.
Well, Charles is going to tell like it is.
Yeah, damn sure.
He brought up a good point. He said, they need a Mark West. They need a Dan Marley. They need somebody like that to get in there and kind of light a match on these guys.
To your point, Jim, they need that CP3 to get in your grill on the court and not worry about feelings. When you
wish Book had a little bit of that in him.
Oh,
he's such an awesome player. Just get a little bit more fire in him.
Yep.
Every once in a while, you'll see him point at somebody and get your butt down here, or you got to pick up because they had mic'd up one time. So I was surprised how verbal he is on the court, and talking to some of these guys. But he can't do it 24/7, 365. At some point, you got to take responsibility and accountability of what you need to do on every play, and they're just not getting that.
No.
In a wreck, need a check, make one call. That's all, 602-977-1900, and always at lernerroad.com. They can help. Again, one call does it all, 602-977-1900 for our call of the day. All right, our It's Your Call question of the day, which is brought to you by State 48 Roofing, which this win could be crazy on a roof. So state48roofing.com if you need somebody to come out and look at your roof. Very simple question today. Who's going to win tonight? Notre Dame or Notre Dame?
Penn State. So right now, if you go to @Roc and Manuch on Twitter, 50-50, fellas. Notre Dame, Penn State, 50%. I thought that Notre Dame was like a 60-40, but you're playing down there in Miami. A little chilly, but for the Notre Dame, Penn State
60
folks,
degrees.
yeah,
It's chilly. Look at Rock's freezing right now. He's
39 here.
Notre Dame, Penn State, they're like, no big deal.
Oh, no, that's nothing.
No big
No, that's perfect weather for them.
Yeah.
It's not perfect weather for us
No,
right
it's
here.
not.
It's
Not at the
brutal.
moment. We're almost done.
Hey, what's on tap? Brought to you with the Roc and Manuch, Amber by Dosekis. Grand Canyon at Utah Valley tonight. That is on ESPN Plus. That'll start at 6 o'clock. Of course, Suns got a 3-game homestand at Footprint. They got the Hawks tonight. You can hear that at 98.7 and on television, AZ Family 3 TV. That will start at 7 o'clock. Pregame on 98.7 at 6:30.
If the Suns beat Atlanta tonight, are you off of this, or do they need to put a string together?
They got to get on a little run
And
here.
there you go.
I think we're expecting this could be a roller coaster season. I think we just got to accept it.
They started with, they won, 12 out of the first 15, something like that.
Yes, they were excellent.
And they've lost 11 out of the last 15. They've lost 7 out of the last 8. So you look at these 3 games, Atlanta, and then you got Utah,
Winnable.
and then Charlotte.
Winnable.
3 games. They need.
I think 2 to 3.
I would say all 3.
Well, you need to win it, but it is good basketball. They are, but they have had their struggles as well. Look, you had to have Trey Young hit about a 70-footer 3-point shot at the buzzer.
He's a stud.
He is a stud, and they were able to beat Utah. So it's not like Atlanta's coming in here on a big roll.
I think
they're not.
You got to calm the chatter by win these 3 games.
That's
calm
fair.
Atlanta.
Calm it down.
You got to calm it down. You beat Utah. You beat Charlotte.
Yep.
Who won, 7 games going to that game. They beat you 8th game. This 3-game home stand is something that I would, right now.
Very important.
It's very important for them to calm down the chatter and get themselves right. I mean, that's how I look at it.
They're the only game in town right now.
They are. Yes, you're right.
They need to your point, slow it down, get that chatter to kind of go away, because it's going to get pretty loud here if they say go 1 and 2 in this 3 game.
They're getting beat up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just for Suns fans, like, guys, you got all these, to your point, Ron, all the big money, all the big players. What the hell's going on here, Matt Ishbia? What's going on here, James Jones? Mike Moonholzer? You can't get these guys to play with energy? I mean, that's the thing.
Talent's there.
Talent's
No
there.
question.
We know that.
Yeah.
But the talent doesn't mix.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to have some less talented guys who mix in.
Why do you
with your
think
guys.
they thought Bradley Beal would make sense?
I think they felt that if they brought him in, he would still be that player that you saw with the Washington Wizards.
But he was the star there.
He was
the
star.
number 1.
He was.
Now he's the 3.
Well, he's not even that.
Well, fair.
Yes,
fair.
he's not that now.
But that was the
But
reason.
that was the reasoning, yes. And they felt that if they had those 3 guys, and everybody referred to them as the big 3, they're not.
He was supposed to be the icing on the cake.
That is correct.
He was supposed to be that guy that closed that deal. Like when Barkley came here in 92, 93, there was our guy.
I don't know about that. I think we were saying that when Kevin Durant got traded here.
Well, I mean, there wasn't. You got to remember though.
They had a lot of injury
KD
issues.
got there. Remember when he got here, he hurt his ankle.
Yeah, true.
So he didn't even.
Yeah.
So you went okay. The rest of that year was a mulligan. It was last year you looked forward to it, and then this year with Bradley Beal. I mean, last year Bradley Beal coming in, you thought that would top it off.
Here's the other thing that I want to touch on. Everybody thought when they signed Tyus Jones, they got one of the best point guards. It hasn't worked now in the last 4 or 5, 10 games.
Who's the assist leader right now? Devin Booker.
Devin Booker is the assist leader.
And you got a point guard.
That shouldn't be that. Monte Morris now.
And I bet he's pissed because he was looking forward to coming here.
He was. Monte Morris now is getting more minutes. And he should, because he takes better care of the basketball.
Hey, we're finishing up out here at Twin Peaks. They have 5 Valley locations. No one does happy hour like Twin Peaks. 5 locations, as I mentioned. Great place to watch all this football action. We have 5 straight days of playoff football. Hallelujah. With the semifinals today, tomorrow, and then NFL on Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Still no word on what's going on in Los Angeles, if they're going to have to play that game at State Farm. I hope that is not the case. That means things are going in the right direction there. It's just I can't remember. I mean, we see these fires all the time, but nothing like this.
No, this is
where it gets really
tragic.
It's just, oh my gosh, they can't stop it.
Well,
these winds, I mean, we're getting them.
Yeah, I mean, we're in it right now, but not at 80 to 100 miles an hour, which is what has been going on.
They've never had Santa Ana's at over 50, 100, and to see Pacific Coast Highway, both sides, those homes on the road, gone for like a mile. I mean, all those beautiful homes on the beach are gone, and you're like, oh my! And the Pacific Palisades, they lost rows and rows and rows of homes.
I mean, the death tolls, unfortunately, that's continuing to rise. I mean, wildlife, dogs, pets, oh man,
everything.
And they said the winds are supposed to pick up again.
They are
this afternoon.
weekend. Yeah.
So yeah, it's very unfortunate. Yes, thoughts and prayers for all those people.
Hey, tomorrow on the show, we'll have Sean Salisbury, Eric Moses put a wrap on the Fiesta Bowl, Kevin Rowe with his picks, Scott Spreitzer will handicap, and Mark May will join us as well. That's all coming up tomorrow. If you missed anything, you can go to rockandmanuch.com or always at arizonasports.com. So we've gone through 4 days here on our new home, ESPN 620 and 98.7 HD2. Tomorrow we'll be out at Wright Toyota in North Scottsdale. Wait till you guys see, well, Jax, wait till you see the new sign we got put up there. It's pretty kick-ass.
Yeah,
so I'm pretty excited about that. So anyway, go to rockandmanuch.com, find out everything we're doing at DraftKings as well as Weekapaw, as we are ready to go, getting ready for the national championship and the big game. So for Jax, for Connor, for Jimmy B, for Manuch, I'm Rock. Have a great night. We'll see you.